Good morning. It's Tuesday. We have Dr. Aaron Chapa in studio. It's going to be a good day. I paid a visit to Dr. Chapa's office yesterday. It was hopping in there. It was happening. A ton of people were able to get helped, to be seen. I saw people that I knew through the radio. I saw people that I knew through church, and I actually met people that I'd never met before with their kids in there. It was really cool.
Yesterday is Monday's the busiest day for Dr. Aaron Chapa, and Tuesday is even busier because he's on our show today. If you have a health question that you want to be answered, if you're going back later on, hope you enjoy the show, hope you enjoy the health questions. You could literally pay tons and tons of money to go and talk to a doctor, but today we're giving to you for free.
For free. Hey, and I don't know if this was sent out on purpose at this time, but Main Squeeze just pushed a text.
I was about to say something too. That's awesome.
I think they did this on purpose. But
hey, you need to and make sure you say Dr. Chapa sent you.
Yeah, Dr. Chapa sent you. You heard it here at KHEA. So Main Squeeze just sent out and pushed a text. Customer appreciation for the week of 4/16, $3 off bowls. 4/17, $2 off smoothies. 4/18, $1 off juices at Main Squeeze, Webster, 820 Bay Area
While
Boulevard.
supplies last. I'm shooting over there after.
Yeah, I think they did that on purpose. They're like, well, Dr. Chapa's probably going to be going live around this 8:30.
He might say something, and I might just tell you that $3 off bowls and $2 off smoothies, and I mean that's awesome sauce, man.
Giving it away.
Giving it away. I mean, I got me a little Main Squeeze right here. I got me a little wheatgrass right here. I'm about to drop that shot here in a moment. Trying to compete with y'all's coffee.
Uh-oh. Hey, Kurt's a little under the I don't know, is it the weather? Is it still under the weather if it's just allergies?
No, look, this week is lower on the pollen count than it was the last 2 weeks, for sure.
So do you think he's actually allergic to this building like he says he is? He's allergic to KHEA radio?
Man, he can't say that too loud. I mean, his boss might hear, and they might, say, well, if you're allergic, you're done.
Get out.
No, I'm allergic to Texas City. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, let us know. Are you allergic to this area? Is it just Kurt? Feel free to share this video out. If you have any questions, we're going to get those answered. We're going to get them asked to Dr. Aaron Chapa, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center located in Leak City. I had the opportunity to stop in yesterday. It was packed. There was a ton of people there. He was getting them in, servicing them, making them feel better and leaving. That's what happened to me. No joke. I got some of it on video, and I'm going to be pushing that video out. I don't know if I'm going to have time today.
Man, we're like 8 videos behind, Gardy.
Well, you know how it is. We've been busy. We have our Easter play coming up this weekend, so we've been practicing every day, like 5 to 10 at night, right? So It's been pretty busy. So I'm like, when am I supposed to edit?
I want Jennifer to write this down. Jennifer is our intern here today. I want you to write this down.
When am I supposed to edit?
Gardy complained and said, when am I supposed to edit? Because I used to say that all the time, and Gardy would be like, Kurt, find the time, get the videos done, we need to edit. So I just want you to remember, later on, when I say I don't have the time to edit, you can say, well, you said the same thing. Got it? Time, announce it, everything.
All right, so, yeah, all right, sure.
Well, I haven't had time. I've been busy. Kurt, you have time. You know why? You need to make time. You have no wife. You have no kids. No one really likes you or loves you. Come on, Kurt, you got to find time.
Wow.
Hey, people, whenever I was in there, they're like, oh, yeah, that guy's so crazy. How do you put up with him? And I'm like, he's great. He's just a great guy.
Wait, me?
Yeah, well, no, you think they were talking about me?
Yes. Or Ethan, one of the two.
No, I was like, he's a great guy.
Yes.
What a stand-up gentleman. Hey, I also ran into the gentleman who owns Steinfly Graphics. He was in there having a fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool. It's literally like a little reunion in there, like a family atmosphere.
Y'all interacted with him? What did he do some stuff?
We've had him on the show.
He said he would make a sign for us, but we haven't sent him anything to finish.
Well, he asked
signs.
about that. He asked about it. He was like, "Yeah, I'm still down to make you guys a sign. Just waiting for that file." He's like, "I was talking to some people on y'all's email and Instagram, and I'm just waiting for those files." I'm like, "Man, yeah, we should send you that." I told him, I said, well, we rolled our sign off to take the Freedom Call, which I think was a terrible idea. We tried to take the sign and then taped it up. It looks but we need a real legit sign.
Yeah, it feels empty. It's bare. Like you can see where the sign is on the wall outside the.
I was thinking about taking the Sharpie and just be like
KHEA
something, kid print, Dr. Chapa, you got a ton of supplements and you called it herbage.
Herbage.
This stuff is bad. Is this like fish oil or something?
Which one?
This white one.
That's a beef liver fat. That's Antronex.
Am I supposed to chew it?
No, I wouldn't.
I
Just swallow
did.
it. Well, that's where you went wrong.
So
What I did for Kurt is I came in and he just started sneezing. I think he might be maybe he's allergic to me. I don't know. I'm like, here.
You said, don't touch me.
Yeah, I said, don't. Here, I take these supplements, and so I gave him a handful of different supplements.
Let me see if I can get these all in my hand.
That I
I'm
actually
dropping some.
take, and I would have taken because his eyes all red, and he was. I felt bad for him. I didn't want him to be having a bad show because he wasn't feeling his best.
We got 5 seconds if y'all want to go now.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
And it is a beautiful Tuesday. We got Dr. Aaron Chapa in studio. Dr. Chapa, how are you doing today?
Oh, man, I'm fantastic. Loving the world, man. The sunshine is so good. I was just looking at it yesterday. It was hard to work because it was so gorgeous yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that I didn't love working on people and being with them, but man, that sunshine was just calling my name, that beautiful blue sky, and it's going to be another gorgeous day today. So, guys, we got so much to be thankful for. I mean, we can just start out every day that we have breath, and when it's sunshine, I mean, the rest is extra, right?
Mm-hmm. Me and the Uber driver, because I had to Uber to my house from your office yesterday. He was like,
what happened?
Well, I got dropped off. And then I was with my wife. I got dropped off, and then she went to go pick up my son from school. And I was like, hey, where y'all at? Because I didn't know how long I was going to be. And then I got a ride home. But he was like, man, it's so nice. He's like, what is that place? Do you work there? And I was like, oh, yeah, actually, I do work here at Living Well Clinical Nutrition. No, I told him what it was. And he was like, you know what? I sit down and I drive all day long. He said, so I'm starting to feel, myself, I feel like I'm off balance. I'm sitting in here. He said, do you think that's a good thing? Like, does it work for you? And so I said,
absolutely.
So I told him, I said, yeah, you need to go check out Dr. Chapa, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. I said, he'll get you right.
I find that every job that any one of us have all has an opportunity cost. And so, if you work in a refinery or a chemical plant, you're exposed to chemicals. If you are in a floral industry, you're on your feet all day. If you're a nurse, you're dehydrated because they don't let you have water on the floor or whatever. So these are the things that I observe, and it doesn't matter whether it's realtors or a lot of times some of the sickest people I work with because they sit a lot and they eat a lot of fast food, and it doesn't have to be that way, but that's just what I have observed.
Mm-hmm.
And every job has it. And my mechanics have their stuff, and so you have to do compensation drills or exercises, joint mobility programs to offset the lifestyle that you're living so much of your day. And a lot of these compensation drills, they're 5, 10, 15 minutes. They don't have to be long. The problem with them is they're so easy, nobody will do them.
I was doing mine.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe you'll have that on video. Who knows?
You gave me three different things to do.
Pass the plates,
row the canoe,
and pick the grapes.
And then I was like, I feel like I'm doing something.
I feel like
Kurt's like,
Kurt
you gotta.
is jealous. Look at him with that hardcore stare right now. He's thinking to himself,
His dance moves.
Aren't you
He's
a little
like,
concerned? I'm a little
start
concerned.
the lawnmower, because sometimes you gotta
prime it.
Yeah,
that's right. But if you don't do these compensation drills, what are you about to do? You gonna demonstrate?
You gotta prime the lawnmower.
This is his dance.
And then you can start it.
Right.
I cannot believe I didn't know the priming. That's why I never did that move.
That's his whole joke.
I forgot.
Nobody else is priming the lawnmower before you start it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so just on that whole note, before we kind of get into our day, because we just, as you opened up, I love sometimes those experiences whenever you have an opportunity to meet an Uber driver, or meet somebody new throughout your day. And I remember one time I was in Florida at a conference, and the bellman at the conference, he blew my mind. Like, he was like the coolest bellman ever. And his name was Borman Rafael Vesquino Tavard. I mean, say that 5 times.
That's a good name. I can't.
It's powerful.
I cannot.
And so, and me and a friend of mine, Dr. Rick Tillman, always like to quote Borman Rafael Vesquino Tavard because of what he said. He goes, he's a bellman, and sometimes the bellman gets overlooked, does it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We just and and sometimes we're not even fully appreciative that they take our luggage to wherever they're going, and we sat out there and just were chatting with him for 5 minutes, and we got into this really great conversation, and he said, I used to stress out about everything in my life until I started to watch my 8-year-old little boy wake up happy every morning. He seizes every day, every opportunity, and makes the best of it. So now I just took a note from his own son, and we can all take a note from his son. When we wake up in the morning, we can think, hey, I woke up today. The rest is extra. Mm-hmm. So wherever you're at, going through your day, going through your world, just remember that you have so much to be thankful for, and the rest is extra. So make the best of your day-to-day, and let's enjoy this beautiful sunshine, and let's spread positivity everywhere we can, especially through KHE Radio. Mm-hmm. And so share us, like us, and comment on on the videos.
I think all of that is a fancy way of saying TGIT. Like thankful for another Tuesday.
Hey,
yeah,
totally dig it.
Boom.
I mean, I think that's the way we roll with that. So. Anyway,
I'm so over that.
Kurt, you got another red spot on your nose. Is that a new one?
No, it's the same one. It's
Well, no, there's another one right there, unless you scratched it.
That's the second one.
Yeah, so you woke up with some allergies, and Dr. Chapa gave you a bunch of pills, it looks like.
I'm concerned. Do I just swallow all of these at one time?
Yeah, well, you saw me do it.
I don't chew any of them.
I was leading by example.
You don't chew any of them?
Nope, these are just swallowables. I'm not torturing you.
Some of them you do want us to chew, though, because you say it'll get into the mucus
but I didn't bring
or something.
those because, like, for example, if I would have known that he was going to be snotting everywhere and,
I'm not snotting everywhere. Let's chill with the scariness here.
Sorry to offend you. The
truth hurts. Sometimes it gets ugly in here.
Would have been something I would have brought for him to chew, and that would have really worked. But I gave him some Antranex, I gave him some B vitamins, I gave him some metabolic boosters to kind of get the blood flow moving. I'm thinking maybe he's just got a little congestion, and the sneezing is his body's way of priming the pump. You see how we brought the priming the pump back in there? Did you like that, Kurt? Okay, no,
he's mad. He's mad.
I'm mad that you're talking about my snot bubbles and stuff.
Well, we have to hear it.
I do not.
We just did.
We just heard one. Yeah. So, but hopefully with these supplements.
Oh, man.
Hopefully the supplements will help knock it out. And you know what? We already have a question. This is from Kay Kimball Mallet. She said, what causes IBS? That's something that I think a lot of people sometimes deal with. It's not fun to necessarily talk about, but what kind of causes does IBS, what does it stem from?
So whenever people come into our office, I would say that 80% of all of your health complaints can be traced back to the digestive tract. The digestive tract is a huge area of focus for a lot of alternative medicine. And if it's not, then I think you're potentially barking up the wrong tree. I mean, the digestive tract is your first line of defense. It's your floating immune system. It allows your body to, assimilate nutrients from the absorption process. And you're only as good as the food that you absorb.
Eat.
No. But I mean, that's right. I mean, people say that. You're only as good as the food you eat. You become what you
You're what you eat. Yeah.
Wait, so I could become cheese?
That's right. You'll be a block of cheese full of 750 billion
mucus and pus cells.
I did get grossed out by cheese the other day.
Oh,
because brie. I ate brie for the first time ever, but I was watching a video from like overseas, like in Sweden, where they were like getting the cheese ready, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we let it sit down and become moldy and stuff, and then that's part of it." I'm like, that's gross. And they're like injecting into the cheese to pull the cheese out.
I mean, just hearing you think that my sinuses are starting to quiver.
I think you're okay with the Rico's nacho cheese because I don't think it's like actually real from anything.
Right.
They just make it in the lab, so at least they aren't like moldy.
Right. When it was like, and the mold was on the outside, and there was this like really rich guy going, "This is a delicacy in Sweden," and I was just like, ew. Ew.
Well, let's get back to that question. So this on this concept of IBS, right? Like irritable bowel syndrome. That's what it stands for. Mm-hmm. And an irritable bowel syndrome is a fluctuation back and forth from constipation to diarrhea. And a lot of people find that they're in the diarrhea stage, and a lot of times it's uncontrollable, and they have to have multiple bowel movements throughout the day. And that might sound great, except if food is going through your system too quickly and you have dumping syndrome, I mean, you're not having time to absorb the nutrients for assimilation and use in your body, and that could create, problems. So when people come in and they have these irritable bowel issues, we always look at food allergies. And food allergies drive a lot of the irritability in the digestive tract. And so we look at the first top 4 most common food allergies, which would be what, guys? Do you know? Wheat.
Grain.
So wheat. Soy. Dairy.
Soy.
And
corn.
Dairy.
Corn. Yep. So wheat, dairy, soy, corn. That was almost like
I always say wheat, corn, dairy, soy. I feel like that's the way.
But if you go in
grain.
order from top to bottom, it's going to be wheat, dairy, corn, soy, corn. They compete for third and fourth.
Okay.
But first and second's always wheat and dairy.
Cool.
And then and if it's not those, which most of the time it is. So if you find yourself, I'm sensitive to cucumbers, I'm sensitive to onions, I'm sensitive to garlic, things that are kind of obscure things. I mean, those aren't in the traditional top 50 most common food allergies. Then you always got to look at the most common. That's only wheat, dairy, corn, soy. And when you pull the top 4 out, a lot of times those other burdens of food begin to drop down. And so you can then tolerate things like garlic and onions. And the other thing that we do with, when there's irritability in the bowel, then we come in with things like this food allergy tonic and that I brought. That's basically Schisandra, cinnamon, albizia, and echinacea. And the reason we use these is Schisandra is really powerful in just creating a robustness of the whole, the body as a whole. But because the surface area in the digestive tract is so great, we want to put a very hearty herb into the system that creates a very balanced, environment. And then the cinnamon balances blood sugar, and the albizia gets rid of any inflammatory processes that are going on. And the echinacea then stimulates blood flow and upregulates immune activity. And that can decrease the immune food allergy effect if you're into food allergens. And that doesn't give you a green light to go indulge in cheese, Curt.
Mm-hmm.
But it does give you, some level of grace whenever your body is in an inflammatory state.
So I was going to stop dairy.
Was? Why not?
Like Sunday morning, and I woke up, made coffee, and put creamer in, and I was like, already ruined it.
Man.
So it was day 1, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'll wait another day.
Well, you could always push it to another day.
Somebody
we talked
else
about that last week, I think.
Somebody else commented on here and said that tacos cause IBS, and it
could.
It potentially could.
I mean, if you're sensitive to jalapenos and pico de gallo and salsa and stuff like that,
Be careful about
it's not the pico. Don't blame the pico. It's the cheese.
Here's another thing. This is actually my dad. My dad's watching on the stream. Good morning. He said,
Good morning.
What is Dr. Choppa's take on CBD oil, which we were actually talking about before the show started?
I think he was he might be in this room.
Yeah.
Great question. And here, I'm getting you guys some food allergy tonic. Pass that around. So CBD oil, there's multiple wonderful, lovely benefits of CBD oil. CBD oil is a cannabinoid type of oil. It is from hemp plant. Did we shoot that already?
No, they just smelled it.
No, we just smelled it. We didn't.
That's the cinnamon quills.
We kind of warned our intern Jennifer about this, that she has this is part of it.
This is the fun part. But
You know-
her conversation last week, I felt like she might be game for this kind of stuff. What do you think?
In certain times, yes.
Well, this is a great time.
Sure.
I gave the one with the most first, and I was hoping Curt would keep it, but he passed it down to her. So you have the one with the most liquid in there. I was measuring
All right,
them out.
well, let's just go ahead and knock this one down. This is the food
I'm gonna
allergy.
throw up.
So you get the most
tonic.
health benefit. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Some good stuff. It reminds me of being a kid and taking medicine and powering through it.
Yeah, but you just did. I mean, that's pretty powerful.
It burns all the way down.
Dear God.
I mean, now what you just experienced, that strong berry flavors the Schisandra.
Okay.
And then that spicy flavors the cinnamon. And then, of course, you guys remember the echinacea giving you that tingly effect.
Oh, that was what was in there. That's what I'm
Okay.
tasting down.
And so anyway, so what this is going to do is it starts to create and activate mucous membranes to produce their healing effect in your body, the power of bitter herbs.
So somebody just asked, like, what are you drinking? And I guess can you just say one more time quickly, like what the mix is?
Yeah. So the first one that we're going to take this morning is called Food Allergy Tonic, and it's Schisandra, cinnamon quill, albizia, echinacea, and those are the herbs that we have in there, and they're designed to help put inflammation down in the digestive tract. And it actually, because they're bitter herbs as well, they stimulate the body to want to absorb better. So not only can it be an anti-inflammatory in the digestive tract, it can also be a bitter herb that stimulates the health benefits of, hey, digestion is here. So we're awake. We're gonna be eating breakfast. We're gonna be eating lunch. If you take this stuff 30 minutes, 15 minutes before a meal, it will help and prime your digestive tract for breaking down in the stomach and breaking down food with enzymes in the small intestine and increasing absorption.
Okay.
So good question. So
Interesting.
And we call that the food allergy tonic. We actually make this at our office, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center.
You were like, oh, let me just combine it all into one.
Well,
It'll be good.
but here's the thing, and then we'll get back to your CBD question. Is if you look at echinacea, y'all have had it straight before, and now it's not near as impactful with that whole tingly feeling as it was with this cocktail. When you put herbs into a mixture, they have their isolated function, but then they create a different level of function when they're synergistically mixed together. It's just like us. Every time y'all bring, me into the studio, we all talk about what? Health, digestion, wellness, bowel movements, Kurt's snotty nose, all the fun stuff, right? Yeah. But whenever y'all bring somebody else in the room, y'all going to talk about signs or music or barbecue or tacos or whatever the conversation is. Well, plants do the same thing. In our body mixed together, they have a synergistic effect that pulls out aspects of the medicine to enhance certain features of our body. So we can create these little mixtures, balance blood sugar. This is also a great blood sugar balancer because of the cinnamon and Schisandra. But it could also be a good immune stabilizer. So if you look at we just took a shot of something that can change the dynamics of our physiology. And that's what I always try to get people to recognize. So your red eye is not as red as it was when we started. And I'm like, okay, what if that was because, we shot some herbs? What if it was because we took some supplements? And so I believe that we can command, but you do that every day. We command our physiology. And that's what I try to get people to really grasp hold of is the idea of commanding the physiology to do what it's supposed to do. The Bible says that we are to subdue the creepy crawly things. We are to subdue, our body into submission, controlling the flesh, so that we can live better, feel better, act better, think better, produce better, and have onward, upward, goodward, and Godward days where we're always pursuing greater things. And when you wake up and you're not feeling your best, when you wake up and you have symptom patterns that you weren't genetically born with, we want to create a shift in your dynamics. And I think mixing certain herbs together can create that driving force, or a shot of wheatgrass, or some people shoot coffee. You guys like Bang. I mean, we're all looking to drive our physiology some way, right?
Mm-hmm. It's 9 o'clock. This is KHEA Radio.com, 99.5 FM. Share this video out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. My dad already asking some questions. We have some other people asking some questions.
Let's hit that CBD question real quick. So
yeah.
I love CBD oil, by the way. So CBD1, CBD2 receptors, you are loaded from head to toe with cannabinoid receptors. You were getting cannabinoid upregulation if you were fortunate enough to be breastfed. There is cannabinoids that come through the breast milk, and I do believe that if you don't use it, you lose it. So we need these levels of stimulation. And they are very anti-inflammatory. They're very immune modulating. They're very, supportive of basic physiology. You asked a second ago, can you put it on your skin? Yeah, we have a cream version. We have, I've taken earache cases, and I use garlic ear oil a lot, but I've even lately started playing with the idea of putting hemp oil drops in people's ears dealing with inflammation. And it's powerful. I mean, it really makes a big difference. And so we use capsulated forms. We use, liquid forms, and just for different purposes. Some of them are stronger in milligram dosages than others. But at the end of the day, what I found that is very important that people aren't really talking about a lot is, we live in Texas where, bigger is
better.
That's right, always, right? And we live in America where, if
bigger
one
is better.
If one is good, more is better, right? So, and that's the kind of concept that we have as a society. And so, but with CBD oil, if you've never taken it before, which most people haven't, because we're all terrified of, marijuana or drug test, all the stuff,
Going to jail.
Yeah, going to jail. I mean, it's a illegal substance, whatever, right? But CBD is a legal substance that does not have THC in it, so you're not going to be getting the euphoric benefits of it. And whenever you stimulate these cannabinoid receptors through the CBD1 and CBD2 pathways, you're changing the inflammatory status of the body. And so, and we're not just inflammation, but also immune modulating and calming. And there's so many benefits that people report having, whether it's for ADD, whether it's for, skin eruptions, whether like I'm using it for the earaches and things like that. But I think that people that have a, tendency towards anxieties that need to be calmed down, the CBD1 and 2 pathways can help still support the modulating of those receptors and help people feel like they can think through their day. But I think you have to take it a step further. Is you've got to mix minerals with it, and we don't want to come in as more is better. You want to just start with a very low dose. Like with some of our extreme, cases, we just start with a drop or two out of a 500 milligram bottle. So I mean, if it's 1 ml is 500 milligrams, we're doing a drop.
Would it make a failed drug test? I saw Christy just ask that as well.
No, it would not. So we've actually taken. I can't speak to everybody's CBD oil because I mean if I don't know if you guys pay attention, but there's like CBD, little shops popping up. I mean, not like head shops. Like they sell just CBD. Like they're renting space just to sell this stuff. And so in our case we took 1,000 milligram container at a mill. And so we did 1 ml 3 times a day for 30 days, went and did a drug test and passed fine. There's no, it's inside of, all the legal ramifications or legal parameters that, we have to abide by, not having types of, marijuana in our society.
I saw a video that somebody showed me the other day where they tested energy drinks. They tested energy drinks like a drug test. So it's one where you like dip it in there and you can get the results. So
what'd you find?
They did like 5 hour, I don't know if I should say them, but they did like the little energy shots, like 4 of the different brands. And then they did a sugar-free version of one of the most popular brand you can think of.
Yeah.
And every single one of them failed the drug test straight in the liquid.
They failed?
That's what it said. It said that if every single one failed, that's what the video showed. And Curt was there. And he was like, that's edited. But it wasn't. It was like cell phone footage, and so the camera never broke. It just stayed there the whole time. I don't know.
And so that'd be interesting. You should send me it, and I'll look at it and see exactly what they're looking at. But, I mean, at the end of the day, CBD it's safe. It's safe for kids. It's safe for adults. And, look, if you're worried, then don't do it. But, I mean, what we have found, and that's why we tested it ourselves with the products that we're using in our office, is because there is concern. We wanted to be the first guinea pig and know, can you pass a drug test using something called CBD oil, which is derived from hemp. And hemp, with THC out of the ground is illegal. So you cannot do it.
Is that the main thing? They take the THC out?
Correct. Yeah.
So it has all the... it
has all the other therapeutic benefits of the CBD1 and CBD2 pathways, but it does not have the THC euphoric effect on the brain. But it is not a bad way. But listen, I always go back to then. It's never one thing. So anybody that's telling you that, you got to try this one new thing that we just discovered in the belly of a big blue whale out in the Southeast Pacific or something like that. That's somebody that's trying to sell you and that tell you that they manufacture antiques. You got to be leery. There's never one thing. I mean, if that was the case, then all I need is my little CBD oil, and I assure you, if there was a way that I could make it easier for Curt to, get enrolled in, taking supplements and doing the game, or for myself even. I mean, you see my little tackle box of, pills, and if I found a better way, I would do it. I eat well, I supplement well, I rest well, I think well, I read well, and I'm trying to, combat the anxieties of the world. The world is constantly trying to squeeze every ounce of, of energy we got out of us, and a lot of times in all the wrong direction, and we never get the things we really want to get accomplished because we're chasing our tail. And so if we use minerals are God's tranquilizers. They calm our bodies down, and they allow mental fortitude, mental thinking to happen. And the hardest thing to do in life is to think. We got to get people thinking again, not just going through the motions. It always, freaks me out when people say, "Man, I don't even know how I got here this morning. I was just like on autopilot."
Zoned out. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and
Driving.
we can drive a big old truck or a van or a car and be zoned out. I mean, that's kind of terrifying, don't you think?
It is, but I have a question about the CBD again. So we realize, okay, the THC is out. It's not going to make you necessarily fail a drug test or anything. There's a cream. There's oil. If I have pain in my body, like if my knee is sore, my foot hurts, is that going to help it?
It would be, because of it has inflammatory properties, like to downregulate inflammation in the body. You can rub a cream on your skin, and you get a lot of benefit. You can take it orally, get a lot of benefit. And so the application, and this is what your skin is your largest surface area organ, isn't it?
Yes.
And so the surface area of the skin here is we absorb things in through our tissues. And so if you put a cream on, it's going to have an effect. But you also, the digestive tract is also an extension of your skin. If an ant crawled in your mouth and went through your digestive tract, he never technically went inside of you. And so if he went through the whole tube and out your hind end, guess what? He never went inside you because you're a giant tube from mouth to tail end. Mm-hmm. And so until he's absorbed into the tissue, into the bloodstream, he's never in your body. And so your skin is a mirror image of your digestive tract. And so I always look at people's skin. I look for acne. I look at the tongue. The tongue tells us a bunch about yeast and B vitamins and heart issues, liver issues, stomach issues, inflammatory process issues. And we always want to be looking deep into the body's tails, so to speak, the symptom check engine lights that it's throwing off. You have a question, Curt?
I do. We're talking to Dr. Aaron Chapa of the Living Well Clinical Nutrition on 99.5 FM KHEA Radio. Hey, if you have a question, you can go ahead and ask it on our Facebook page or text us at 346-704-1806. Okay, here's my question.
Oh, okay, here we go.
I was getting there.
I'm excited.
Okay, so I was thinking yesterday, last week we had maybe 2 days where the sun was really, really out and we were really enjoying it. I used to have like a vitamin B deficiency. I went to the doctor one time and they're like, hey, just take some vitamin B supplements. As the sun starts coming out and we start getting spring and more sunny days, is that important for our overall health to make sure that we're out in the sun? Because we need the sun to survive, right?
No, so are you saying vitamin D as in dog or B as in boy?
He was saying B, but I think he means D, right?
I'm not sure. That's why I want clarification.
They said vitamin B as well.
As in Bob, vitamin
so
Bob.
So most of the time when we're talking about sunshine, we're talking about vitamin D.
As in dog.
As in dog.
Right.
And so we get vitamin D from the sun, right?
Right.
And so would people need to take, I'm just going to try to answer it both ways in case there is questions on both. The vitamin D but that you get from the sun in the wintertime, we definitely, I mean, there is some value in internal intake of vitamin D. I'd get it through cod liver oil. It has all your fat-soluble vitamins as well as your EPA, DHA, and omegas, and so the cod liver oil is one of my favorite. It's my essential fatty acids. I always talk about vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, and essential fatty acids that I use have the vitamin D component there so that you always are getting vitamin D in a small dose every day, all day long, in a very naturally a form, into the body. One, when the sunshine is out, we want to make sure that, vitamin D's job is to unlock the cell, if you will. And I'm going to try to make the physiology simple because I don't want to, so if there's people out that are listening that are, educating, like I said, that doesn't sound exactly right. It might not sound exactly right, but appreciate that, and not everybody wants the hard science. But your minerals in your vitamins, they ride in on the back of essential fatty acids. And then the vitamin D unlocks the cell. It's like the garage door opener,
right,
and allows you to pull into the car and in, and that's where the exchange happens, right? And so you need vitamin D, as in dog, to get your nutrients into the cell. You need the essential fatty acids to Uber you to your bless your sweet soul. My goodness gracious.
Yeah, that picked up still, even though you shut your microphone off.
And then you need the nutrients. So we need all three factors, right?
Right.
So in the sunshine, your body will convert cholesterol into vitamin D, and you will leverage the sun's energy. That's what photosynthesis is about in plants. That's what and absolutely you should ask, hey, everybody give us a thumbs up or just say something positive about sunshiny days. That is one of the premier things about sunshiny days is everybody feels better when the sun's out. And that's because there is a therapeutic benefit of having that liquid sunshine come into our bodies and upregulate our mitochondria, upregulate our cells, and make our brain turn on and feel better.
So should we be concerned about Curt's low vitamin B? I know we were talking about vitamin D just now, but he said he has low vitamin B.
Yeah,
I thought they were connected in a way.
Well, all vitamins are going to be leveled of, there's going to be a connection. Vitamin B drives mitochondrial function, which is how you produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate, an energy molecule. So we call it energy money. And also, so you need B vitamins. Your body loves B vitamins. And guess who else loves B vitamins, unfortunately? If you eat a lot of sugar and you feed a lot of yeast in your body, or if you have metals in your mouth, or you have metals in your body or chemicals in your body and you're exposed to a lot, your body will subcontract labor to yeast. That yeast then feed on your B vitamins and rob you of energy. That's why people get sleepy, tired. They have no energy to get through their day when they are yeasty. And it doesn't mean you're having a yeast infection, guys. And this is just like you could have yeast in your digestive tract, and that could be technically an overgrowth of yeast, and you could be losing your energy because of the yeast presence being over predominant. The B vitamins, what the B vitamins do in the body, they drive energy pathways everywhere. They're very important. So if your B vitamins are low, think of folic acid and B12 whenever we're dealing with, birth defects. That's one of the key ingredients in helping prevent first trimester, middle, second trimester birth defects, right? Is having adequate, B12. And so we want to help people get their B vitamins up. So we use full spectrum Bs. Now, would you still feel better in the sunshine if your B vitamins are low? I don't know. Well, I would say you probably will still feel low, and you would feel better if we get those stable. And that's why we have a water-soluble B vitamin and fat-soluble B vitamins that we use in our office. We have fermented B vitamins, and we have all kinds of different B vitamin products that we use to drive function whenever we feel like we're stuck. If the body can't assimilate the nutrients, the vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, can't drive the process, then we'll bring in. Let's say that you find that your mind is racing at night. We'll use things like Cataplex G and minerals to calm down the brain. That is a fat-soluble B vitamin that's calming to the body. And people don't say, "Oh, it's a jittery energy that it gives me." The B vitamins we use give a calm, cool energy. Hey, delivery.
Did start because of this in our conversation we had last week.
No, I'm good.
Oh no, Dr. Chapa does not want coffee. Thank you.
The one thing that we started doing is I just drink that black. Now I don't add any dairy because you complained last week. And
no chlorine.
Don't add that. So now I'm just drinking it black.
And now, guess what? I will be happy to say, go for it. That's perfect. I mean, that's so much better than to put the creamer and the sugar and the artificial sugars in it. If you don't, people that say they like coffee, most of them don't. They like the sugar and the syrup and the stuff they put in the coffee. But if you can start appreciating a good bean, I mean, it smells lovely. I mean, just
smells good.
You know, and that's why there's. Coffee isn't going anywhere, but you got to understand that coffee is potentially moldy. It's got mycotoxins associated with it, and you can get into some trouble with coffee. If coffee gives you acid reflux or indigestion, or if it causes your body to feel, you get that real high and then you crash and burn, that means you don't have the minerals to stabilize the energy.
I may be starting a fight here, Dr. Chapa, but your wife just commented and said, black coffee and sunshine makes me happy.
Oh, well,
is that okay?
So anything for you, my darling.
Okay.
Anything for you. And I must say, since she is watching, today is her birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
And happy birthday to you, my love. And then also today is another wonderful day. Today is our anniversary. 14 years we've been married, and couldn't.
You got married on
Dude, you
that's
did
Kurt's
it right.
like plan.
I know.
Man, my plan, if I had it best, it would be birthday, anniversary.
On Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's Day. Just knock them all out.
Man, well, she doesn't always love that part, but at the end of the day, it worked out the way because of my school schedule when I was in school. That was the day that it was going to go down, but I mean, and I will say, darling, if you remember, the skies were as gorgeous as then as they are today, and every day with you is the same. I love you so much.
Literally her day. It was literally her day.
You were just there.
You were just there. It was her birthday and wedding at the same.
I'm just
dude.
How many years?
At 14 years.
14 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Man,
Pretty excited.
Can you give us some secrets on how to? I've been married for almost 5.
Well, so here's what I'll tell you about if I did have secrets. One, God is the absolute center of our relationship. We are so gracious that He put us together and has carried us through. And there's no there's no me, there's no Tiff. I mean, our prayer from day one, from the day we started dating to the day we got engaged to the day we got married, and subtle in every anniversary after, we always say these we say a prayer. Not that we don't pray all the time these things, but the prayer is that we would be so transparent that people would see Jesus before they ever saw us, and then our relationship could be a ministry tool for God's kingdom.
Is marriage a compromise?
Of course.
Is that just? I feel like that's what
mean,
the entire thing is. It's just learning to compromise.
Well, it's really I just say yes, dear. I mean, no, it's always give and take, right? It goes back and forth. And but every year, the first 5-6 years that we were married, we went and did marriage conferences. We read marriage books together. When we went to church events that offered marriage programs, and we went to these programs. Like we support one right now called Life Recon and Love Recon as well, and it's through a company called Infused Life, and they're an amazing tool in giving couples tools on communication. And I would say it's not just compromise; it's really flat out communication. Communication is the universal solvent. If a man and a woman can learn to communicate their feelings and their emotions, and one party and or the other not get their feelings hurt or wear their feelings on their shoulders, and let the relationship be raw and real, where they can express their frustrations and their challenges. They can have a bad day and it doesn't derail the situation. As long as there's nothing like demeaning and derogatory and ugly. You know what I mean? But I think that's a lot of the times is we all are a little bit self-conscious and worry about as a man, I got to have everything together. And as a woman, she's got to make sure the house is perfect. All these stereotypes that aren't real, right? It's teamwork, And now we've got 4 kids, so we decided, just advice we just got in the last year. Hey, our kids are old enough. Make them do the dishes. Make them take out the trash. Make them do all the things that we don't want to do. That's what they're. I mean,
is that why you had kids?
That's why you had kids. But it's good to teach them the little things. They need to know how to run a home. They need to know that it's not just the trash can just magically disappears. No, the laundry just magically gets done. No. Like they're things that they can start learning and be equipped and prepared for when they get out. My kids know they're learning how to cook. They're learning how to bake. They're learning how to tinker in the kitchen, so they're not afraid of the tools, right?
This is why we hire interns.
Well, I would imagine. I mean, and that's
Take out the trash, do the dishes,
brush your teeth.
I mean, that's,
like what else?
That's the game.
Hey, as a parent, what are your goals like for your kids? Like you were kind of going through those tasks. Is that what it is as a parent? Like you and your wife?
Yeah, like I want my kids to be ready. Like whenever the day comes that they leave the coop, I don't want to see failure to launch where my kids are not able to go and do what God's calling them to do. I want to teach them how to hear from the Lord. You know, I want to teach them how to, because, I know, and that sounds so simple, and it sounds maybe even cliche, but I met a lady who's deaf who wanted me to talk to God for her because she can't hear, because all the TV preachers, all the radio preachers say, you got to hear from the Lord. Well, she goes, I'm deaf, I can't hear. And nobody taught her that, no, you don't understand. There's a spiritual hearing. There's a place that you have to develop relationship, above and beyond what is physical, right? Then I want to make sure that they have life skills, that they can walk up, and my son, if he interrupts my office, if he comes in, and I've taught him over the years, I want you can come in anytime. I'm happy for you to interrupt, but the rule is, and Kinley's great about this as well, is you go up to the person, you look them in the eye, and you say, hi, my name is Dash. What's your name? And you start a conversation with them, shaking their hand, looking them in their eye. And I always teach them what eye to look at. I always look at the left eye because it communicates to the visual cortex and allows them to be remembered. And so there's games you play that I'm teaching my kids to play, and so that they deal with people better, because the art in dealing with people is more powerful than any education, I think, because true, again, communication is the universal solvent. If I can help my kids be confident in dealing with people and interacting with the world, they can be dropped in any social circle and figure out how to make it work, and or what we love about the schooling that we do is that the youngers teach the olders teach the youngers. They all interact. There's a very strong integration, and it's a little different from the schooling that we see today, where all the kids are the same age. They only know how to interact with their age bracket, and they have a struggle to interact with the older, generation or the adult population, and so the life skill piece and the communication piece is a really big goal for my wife and I. And then, of course, we want to teach them the basic things like, math, science, history. Hey, I know you don't like your education, like reading all the time, but you have to. I mean, reading is a part of life. And going through the process of, having those skill sets is very valuable. And I teach them. My dad taught me that education is a key on a key ring. And the more education you get, the more doors you can open. I used to think that was degrees. Like what degree do you have? Because my dad was the first to get a college degree, and then I was thinking, well, my dad said education's a key on a key ring, and I got to get a better degree than he got. That's what he raised me to be. He always called me to be a generation jumper. So I'm also teaching my kids, hey, I want you to be better than me. I want you to go above and beyond what I've been able to do and launch forward, into the next generation. Like be a generation jumper and outperform me. And they're going to have to work at it, because I'm not going to stop at 40 years old. I'm not going to stop at 60. I'm going to push until this body won't push. And that's why I always also talk about the future. Future pacing is, I believe I'm going to be fully functional in spirit, mind, and body all the days of my life. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that, God willing, that is how we're supposed to live. And then that means I have to do certain things. I have to take supplements well. I have to go to sleep well. Early to bed, early to rise means what? Makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So we teach these platitudes and concepts in and around the home. So I have quite a few goals. Can you tell?
I've been trying to stare at your left eye, but I don't know if you can tell the difference.
See, that's the beautiful thing about it, is you always make eye contact, and people don't know if you're looking at their left eye or their right. You can also, teaching people to have the courage to look people in the eye. That's, again, it's a big deal today. Like, people don't do it.
Yeah, that's
Gardy
true.
always looks at my right eyeball, and it makes me so mad.
You're ridiculous. Is that why you squirm around? You're just usually like, oh, it's like looking down, looking up, like, oh, what's
give
going
me the left eye.
on? Look me in my left eye. Hey, but stuff like that is real, you know. And it's
listen, if anybody out there, like, so I had a patient yesterday, and I have asked her over the last 7 years, hey, an emotion's coming up. Do you want to deal with that? And she goes, oh no, heck no, forget that, no way. Okay, no worries. So we go on. Well, yesterday she comes in, really interesting, and she goes, I just listened to this cancer summit, and these guys, they traveled to 7 countries, and they sat down with all these alternative medicine doctors. I was really impressed that you're teaching me a lot of the same stuff they're teaching. And I'm like, yeah, I know, isn't it cool? And she goes, yeah. And they also said that if you've got hidden or skeletons in the closet or emotional issues from your childhood and you haven't dealt with those, that those are the things that they find are really driving cancer. And I'm like, she goes, I think I'm ready to deal with some of those emotions. And I go, you're kidding. And I was like, I'm so glad you finally, came to light, because you've got to have the full spectrum when you're wanting to get healthy. We got a structural piece to us. We have an emotional piece to us. We have a biochemical piece to us. And we have a fourth thing of a toxicity bioaccumulated issue that we're dealing with as a fourth piece. And if you look at it, that's 4 pieces. That's like the home run, right? Like that's the diamond field, is we've got all the bases have to be addressed if you want to be healthy. And so we've got to eat well. We've got to live well. We've got to think well. We got to pray well.
Be well.
And we've got to be well, living
so
well.
you can live well.
That's
hey,
right.
This is from Christy. She said, which eye, my left or your left? And I told her, I feel
It's
like
always your left. I mean, you're always looking at the person's left eye.
So from my side, I'm looking at your look. That's what I said.
That's
it
right.
looks like he was looking at my.
Yeah.
So it would be.
I'm always looking at the left eyeball.
I'm always looking at Gardy's right
so
eyeball.
this one, right?
That's why. Stop talking to his logical conscious brain and talk to his subconscious.
You're looking at this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's you're always looking at your person's left eye. If you get in a habit
Stage left.
if you I don't know how to talk like
Stage
that.
right.
It depends on if you're a musician. Can you pull stuff like that off?
Cool. So look at the person's left. So imagine, look, I'm looking at Kurt right now, and so do you know your right and left?
Kurt doesn't.
He gets to do this.
It's the one that makes the L.
Oh yeah. There you go. There you go. Hey,
Cool.
So,
Hey, so right now it's 9:28. This is KHEA Radio.com, 99.5 FM. If you're tuning in on 99.5, thank you so much. Good morning to you. Feel free to call, text a friend, tell them tune in, listen. The radio on 99.5 FM, or go to our website and stream us from anywhere in the world. You can also hang out with us right here on Facebook. Feel free to interact, ask questions, share the video. There's somebody on your friend's feed, I promise, that can benefit from the information we're talking about today.
and I'll tell you too. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but like I don't know if Rendy's still watching or not. But Rendy Brown, like she works for Anchor Point Ministries, and one of the things I love about Anchor Point is Anchor Point does something really unique, and I never thought about this until I talked to Debbie, who started Anchor Point. They help in this realm of communication, and one of the things that they're all about is in teaching adopting parents how to adopt a child, and then they go a step further and teach a child how to be adopted through skill sets and life skills and communication drills. And communication is, again, that universal solvent. And, her and I were talking, she invited me to come do a talk for her Anchor Point camp where they are integrating these families together and giving them places to bond on. And it is really a powerful thing. Again, just going to communication, and that she's another great resource. Anchor Point Ministries, housed originally in League City, but amazing ministry, amazing people, and they have quite a few programs that are for life and for advancing the positive message in people's homes that are adopting. So if you feel like you're called to adopt, man, give Anchor Point a call, and they have just amazing tools that I think are powerful. So
Do you get people like that drawn to you often? People, I mean, with certain goals and just trying to do good stuff? Because you have a lot of good relationships in the community.
Yeah, I think that people that really are positive, I mean, like, look at this station, like, we are a voice of positivity, right? We try to always make sure that, we poke fun and we make Kurt the butt of our jokes,
I think he does it to himself.
But we love each other, right? Like, we're in
brothers.
the game of playing and making health fun. Because sometimes, if we're just sitting up here talking off a spreadsheet, talking off a PowerPoint, it's not as memorable. They say that facts tell, stories sell. Well, we're trying to sell you on the idea that you're worth investing in. You're worth having a better quality of health. You're worth, if you've got symptom patterns that you weren't genetically born with, you don't have to live like that. And it does start with wherever you're willing to start. If you're willing to read 15 minutes in a good, positive, book every day, if you're willing to tune into KHEA radio every Tuesday, everybody's at their wherever they're at on their journey. Our job is just to meet them there. And we don't pass judgment. We go into every circumstance, just like that lady. For years, she wasn't ready to do emotional work. And all of a sudden she goes, I'm ready. Well, if I would have been dogmatic and in my, it's my way, you're doing it my way. Well, how long do you think that relationship would have lasted? That's not the relationship people are looking for. And at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, what we're trying to do, and what we're thriving at, I believe, is building the relationship that we're willing to be patient with you as long as you're willing to just take one step forward. Make this week better than it was last week. Make this meal better than it was, the other, 5 meals. Wherever you're at, if you've fallen off the wagon, you got to get back on. We want to be a beacon of light that you can come back, and when you're not going to be judged, we're just going to start right where you're at and keep on trucking.
All right. So if you're watching, if you're listening, wherever you are listening or watching, and you have any questions, feel free to let us know. You can text us as well, 346-704-1806, 346-704-1806. You can also ask some questions right here on the Facebook stream. This is your opportunity where it's an open forum.
I did put in the description this morning, and I said, why pay for you to go visit a doctor when you can get all your answers for free right here at KHEA Radio?
Sometimes it's an in-depth look, I suppose. But no, hey, why not get set on the right track? Because it's a little step. Even tuning in, like you mentioned, that's a step in the right direction.
Step in the right direction. And because you're going to hear something. And that's why we always encourage you to listen to the show, share the show, comment on the show, because we want to give a positive message in a light where people can reach out. So today, every show we kind of take a different theme, and I think that it's just what people need to hear. And I think collectively, globally, people can really appreciate that we're willing to roll with the theme of the world, what's needed out there, and trust that, God's going to help us communicate our message that he wants us to give everybody. Hey, so Bruce says, have you been testing for herbicides? And I don't know if that's because we have this MicroLife Ultimate Organic Feeder pot soil in the back, but he brings up a good point. So we were just sitting in a seminar just here recently, and people are now commenting that, it's not the gluten, it's the herbicide, it's the pesticide, it's the chemicals that we're putting on the stuff that's causing the food allergies. And I will say that yeah, we do. We find that people have chemical sensitivities from herbicides, pesticides, and it does cause a problem, and it is changing the food because what we put on our food we're taking into our body, so that does create a level of inflammation and potentially neurotoxins. They become neurologically toxic to our brain and cells in our bodies of communication, that we can't get a message, hey, arm, move, hey, legs, jump or walk or whatever, and your body spatially doesn't know where you are in space, and you could find yourself in a state of injury that could have been just, hey, if my body was performing better neurologically, that it wouldn't have. So just to make a little comment in a story around that, so I'm not sure what his question really was.
Whenever we were talking about herbage, we're like, Dr. Chopper brought in herbage. He kind of did that. But somebody did ask about the MicroLife. So have you ever heard of hippie fertilizing?
I haven't heard hippie. Is it a company?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I had people, like I've seen these guys before. MicroLife is absolutely amazing. There's bat guano in that. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Bat guano. That's pretty cool.
What he pointed out to me was why, because I like to fertilize or take care of the grass in the yard. And he's like, why are you going to put something on your grass and then have your kids go out and roll around in it and play, and then they can get sick if there's something that you're not even supposed to touch? And that's how he started the company, because he got sick from working in landscaping, and he was putting stuff out there, and he found out, I'm looking at the ingredients, I'm breathing this stuff in, handling it. I should be in a hazmat suit. There has to be a better way to do it.
And that's right. And that's why parents will say, all right, kids, you can't play in the yard for 20 minutes or an hour or 2 hours or whatever their rule is. And it's because, these are chemicals, But when you use things like this, alfalfa, fish meal, humates, kelp meal, soy, wheat, something. I can't read it from here. Rock phosphates, bat guano. That's my favorite. Let's say it together.
Bat
guano.
It's basically bat poop.
Yes.
That's right. And if you leave it in your garage too long and you don't use it, so one, it'd be a waste. But I did that accidentally one time, and it smelled like bat guano in there.
I hate bats.
Why?
I had an apartment complex where when I lived in Nebraska, and it was infested with bats above us, and so the bats would like swirl around at night. You could hear them like flying around.
They were probably there first.
And then one got into the apartment and like flew around inside of the house. It was the worst experience of my. I was so scared.
Was it in your apartment?
Yes, it was in
Wow.
my. So the whole area was infested. Like the attic. It was awful. They would crawl down the walls and then like crawl back up, and you could hear them scratching at night. And I was just like, nah, I'm done. We moved out. It was awful.
Oh man. Hey, here's a couple comments from Carrie. First of all, she said, I'm a Nebraska too.
Yes.
So that's what's up. Hey, Carrie's watching, or she's at least from Nebraska. She said, we like those organic fertilizers. My hubby in the family is the family gardener, and we use natural fertilizer. She also said something earlier that there's no shame at living well. I was told 4 years ago that I had a dairy intolerance, and I chose not to believe Dr. Chapa until 2.5 years ago when I discovered that he was right. And not only was it the cause of my digestive issues, but it was also the cause of my, is it eczema? Eczema, sorry.
Which, by the way, by definition, is a skin disorder of an unknown cause. Isn't that funny?
And then,
but it's really
you kind of know what the cause.
It's a liver problem and a food allergy.
So she cut it out. She cut it out for the most part and said she noticed a huge difference.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Because here's the deal. It is a hard, bitter pill to swallow when somebody tells you can't have something. And Jennifer she's one of my nutritionists at the office, and she says that when she was at the seminar, one of the guys spoke about creating a sense of loneliness whenever you tell people to get off food allergies. And but the reality is what you eat's important, but
what you don't eat
is even more important.
Man, you guys are great. I love it. And
Chapa-isms.
And so here's the game, right? Is recognizing the foods that are inflammatory. And dairy is not your friend, I assure you. So as much as people want to consume cheese and want to consume dairy products, milk, cheese, yogurt, sour cream, ice cream, whey protein, all those things, none of that stuff is good. Like we drew an experiment too, guys. I mean, like I have goat milk that we use for infants and toddlers in the office, for kids that can't do dairy and they need a good, just like this fertilizer. The formulas that are being sold are loaded with so many preservatives and so many chemicals that we're doing our kids a disservice raising them on that stuff. Okay, so we use this stuff called Sammy's milk, and it's low heat, processed. It's made sure that it passes all your your concerns. And people don't realize that it's just like this microlife. We've got to have something of value to put into the body, and milk isn't good. And so sometimes I've even seen it where even a kid is so inflamed, sensitive to dairy casein, from a cow, that even the goat milk, when it normally should be okay because it's a completely different species, it's designed for a different, weighted beast, can still create a level of inflammation. And so we will try things, and sometimes we have to find another alternative still. And so this is the challenge, is finding a food that the body will accept when it's so inflamed. And going back to that original conversation is, irritable bowel syndrome always has a negative, diarrhea connotation, but it doesn't. Your irritable bowel could be causing your anxiety. Your anxiety disorder, the somatovisceral response associated with your intestine is anxiety, is inflammation in the digestive tract. Well, when your digestive tract is irritable and irritated, you're more easily agitated. The environment that you live in is more easily agitating because, again, it's just like rubbing salt in a wound. It hurts. So if you put food in an inflamed environment, guess what? It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt, and it's going to make your body hurt in some capacity, either through your skin, through your mind, or through some other symptom pattern.
So here's another question, Dr. Chapa. Have you written a book yet? I know the answer to this, but
I haven't.
But if
And,
you did, what would be the topic?
and this is that's probably one of the hardest things because there's so much information floating around in my head. But this is what's happening right now. So Jennifer and I get together every week, and we hash out different things to talk about because she's really good at. Like I can stand in front, and I get in a room, and I start on a board, and I start just rattling off stuff that I want to talk about. And she's really good at pulling the information and organizing it. So there is something formulating, and it'll probably be something that we'll kind of write together and put together because, like, I have all this stuff that I want to talk about and share with you guys, and then, but it's just a matter of my mental block, so to speak, is being able to take it from my head to a piece of paper.
You know what you should do? I know you have some of these, like your one-liners, like even
My
like
Aaronisms
a little
or Choppisms.
yeah, a little pamphlet. You could fill that up and just have those at the front for now, and then that'll be getting the
That's
ball
the start.
rolling. It's like, yeah, I got this.
Start of each chapter
And
is
then-
a Dr. Choppa-ism.
Well, that's what I was going to
love
say.
it, yeah.
Then obviously on those one-liners, you could expand and then probably write a whole book on each one of those
And there's
little things.
There's no doubt about it. And so, Gardy, I'm gonna like totally steal that and
Take it.
absolutely because it does. It's the small things, right? So like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's where I just and I think all of us going back to it's what?
Why would we eat an elephant?
Well, I don't know. That's just the thing they say. That's
Exactly.
a platitude that people
Rude.
like.
Okay, here's another comment. This is from Courtney. She said, "My kids don't like almond milk. They love regular milk, and so does my husband. What do you suggest? What about raw milk? Is that better than organic from the store?"
Okay, so the raw milk from a dairy farm trusted source is going to always be better. Okay, and I have patients that go to dairy farms. I have patients that raise goats for goat farming. It depends. I mean, you'd have to try. Now, the easy answer is absolutely it's 1,500% better than what you're getting from the store because you're getting it from your cow or your goat or from a person's trusted, goat or cow, and they're not putting hormones in. They're not putting all these steroids in their body that's making them overproduce their intake of daily, milk production. And that's one of the issues that Elsie, the cow, is dealing with today is that she's stimulated with so many hormones to overproduce what her normal level of milk production would be. And then we pasteurize it and homogenize the milk, so we ruin it. So that means we heat treat it. And the milk farmers all got together when back in the day, whenever the milkman would show up to the house and the person would buy their milk, they always bought the milk with the most fat in it because who doesn't love good fatty whole milk? And because it's richer, it tastes better. Okay. Well, at the end of the day, he had milk left over because people would be like, "Oh, I don't want it if it don't have the fat in it." Mm-hmm. And so they got together and figured out, well, they got to make it all look, harmonious, right? So there's no bias. Maybe the whole prejudice about having too much fat in one milk versus not enough fat in another. And so the homogenation pasteurization process came into play to basically alleviate that problem. Well, in the process, what it's done is it's mutated the protein and made the protein something that the body can't recognize and now has become inflammatory. And then we load Elsie up with antibiotics because she's overproducing. We load Elsie up with steroids, and now those steroids are being transposed into your children. That's why you've got 13-year-olds that look like 23-year-olds, fully developed, and they might even be hormonally crazy because they're dealing with so many extra hormones that they weren't supposed to be dealing with at this age. Like you want to kick the system into gear, at a natural, slow, steady state, not drop it into high gear so early that their bodies can't evolve and catch up to process what they're going through. And so the hormone issue that we're putting in the milk is a big problem. So is milk raw milk better? Yeah, it's better, but is it a guarantee that it's going to be suitable and okay for your family? Like if your family has allergies and milk is the driving force, I don't care if it's raw. I don't even care if it's goat. Like if you got an allergy, you got an allergy. And so you have to look at it. Like I assure you that Curt has an allergy to dairy milk. And he'll be like, this gal who said that 4 years ago, and we're all stubborn, and that's okay. But again, that's why we meet you right where you're at, and we don't judge, and we're not going to force you. But we're just going to keep pushing you to. We're going to try to outperform the allergy as much as we can. That's why we created the Foodology tonic that we've been talking about this morning.
I'm not having an allergic reaction this morning.
What
I'm
is
just
it?
I'm just having the gunk like drip out of my nose just randomly.
I feel like it's dripping into my ears.
It is.
Just 'cause
it's literally like going like this and down over there. It's bad. Like just as you were talking, there was some release that happened because it just like dripped down into my pants.
Okay, so here's another comment.
I hope your girlfriend's not listening.
He's texting her over here. I was like about to spill
She
his
asked
drink
me-
on him on purpose, so that way he would stop
She asked me
texting
how
her.
I was feeling after taking all the supplements.
Oh yeah, how are you feeling after taking all the supplements?
It's dripping from my nose. It's so good.
We're breaking. we're breaking it loose. That's what we're doing. Hey, that's awesome. I think, and again, what have I always said? Stagnation, any congestion in the body. That's what leads to the immune burden. So if we can open up the channels and get things to move, then it's not going to create a problem for you going forward.
Are there more like things, supplements for
Oh, yeah,
allergies?
yeah. Oh,
Can
oh.
we take? Because we're almost out of time.
Yeah, I see that. It's so much fun with you guys. I mean, how do we just blow through an hour and a half?
How many
so
shows
quickly?
have you been on? It's been like
I think it was last June. I think whenever y'all.
you're almost been here a year.
I know,
and we still never have enough time to talk to you.
Well, I'm so glad that y'all feel that way. I have fun talking to all you guys, and I love all y'all's questions, so keep them coming. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rock down a brain tonic. Everybody loves the brain tonic. This is my herbal coffee right here, and this is not coffee, by the way.
It's not.
But this will turn on.
There's
the
echinacea
brain.
in this as well, isn't there?
I
can smell
no,
it.
I don't believe so. This is Korean ginseng, ginkgo, bacopa,
Ooh,
and schisandra. So it's going to have that berry flavor.
sounds tropical.
Again.
Bacopa.
And-
Did you say tropical?
Dun, dun,
Like
dun,
tropical
dun,
with the word
dun,
chop
dun,
in front
That
of
was
it?
so awesome. So, all right, here we go. So the brain tonic's going down. This is at our office. Get ready.
It's at our office. You can have the opportunity to try this as well.
And we have shots always available at the office most days.
That's
and,
good.
The brain tonic is a favorite because people really love it if they're going in to study. Or if you need to sit down and concentrate and get your taxes done. I mean, because you do know that today's tax day. And
I thought that was yesterday.
We got to do taxes?
and I think the 16th is the final deadline, isn't it?
Maybe.
I know the
I
accountants
hope everybody
are done.
did it. Yeah.
It's just all the people that do their own taxes.
By the way, I
struggling
got
today.
so scared. The IRS should not be allowed to send out like letters during like the 4 months or whatever when you do your taxes. Because I freaked out yesterday. I got a letter from the IRS, but it was just like, "Hey, we just received this document from you," and I was like, "Really?"
Have you ever been audited?
No, but I was scared that that's what they were doing. Was sending me like an audit thing, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm done. I'm
Taxation
done.
is theft.
I'm done."
So let's change the subject.
I was so
That
done.
sounds terrifying. I think
Scared. But it was literally like, we received this document from your student loans. I'm like, thank you so much. I was ready to have a heart attack.
So you notice that same berry-like flavor in the brain tonic
It's
that you had
deep in the
the
drink.
food
It's
allergy.
deep in there,
Well,
just a hint.
if you didn't drink your coffee on top of it, you would still be tasting the berry fillets. That's Schisandra berry. And again, Schisandra is in a lot of my tonics because it's so much of a robust effect over all the whole body. It helps the body de-stress. It helps the body handle challenges of life more effectively. I mean, it's a really cool herb. Mixed with the bacopa, ginkgo, and Korean ginseng, now we're increasing blood flow. We're increasing memory, long-term, short-term memory, and we're opening up blood vascular pathways in the brain so we can allow more circulation to occur. So now you can sit down and study longer. You can remember better. You can also get through your meetings, get through your afternoon, that slump from 1 to 3 p.m. where people crash. Brain tonic is a powerful thing to have at your desk.
Boom.
Shotgun.
And then there's one more. What's the other one?
So this one y'all will like, I believe. I just said this was for last because it's not as potent and bitter as the others. This is called Vital Child. This one's going to have
we start with that one?
Echinacea purpura, which is not the Echinacea premium that you have over there. It's going to be a little bit sweeter.
This
and,
is Echinacea purpura.
Oh, well, then you're in business. Marsh,
This
I thought
one's
you
the
had the
worst.
premium. The marshmallow root. milk thistle glycetract, which is going to be great for the liver and all the kids because they get into sugars. They need the giver. The liver is our giver. Thank you, Gardy, to be open and eliminating trash out of the lymph system. Because if congestion happens, your kid's going to have, mental fortitude challenges. They call that ADD. They call that ODD. They call that all kinds of stuff, right?
What's ODD?
Opposition defiance disorder or something like that.
Okay.
And so
I definitely have that.
he's always
self-diagnosed. He is just for the sake of it.
I just want to.
I was talking to his girlfriend the other day just about how this dude will argue over nothing. Like I'm like, that shirt's blue, and he's like, no, it's not.
This is purple.
No, it's
Yeah, I'm like, Kurt, what are you talking about? But
All
yeah,
right, so this one is great for the liver. This one is great, again, for immune activation. This one is great for digestion. And kids, I mean, if this is what we focus on the kiddies, this is where I think it is a powerful place. And I have kids, and I know that sounds crazy, that come into my office. They don't want to swallow pills. They'd rather shoot these herb shots. And so they'll do these herb shots straight. They'll mix them with a little bit of water. And but it's really good that you guys are getting a great experience this morning. And by the way, I'm at props again to my wife, who's my wife's side. She goes, you haven't brought herbs to the boys in a while. You need to take some herbs in there. So, thanks, my darling, again, for reminding me that I got to take care of you guys.
Jennifer's over here. Her mic's shut off, but she said, "Lucky me."
Woo! Say it again.
Lucky me, the second day that I have at the radio. Yeah, let's bring all the herbals.
Oh, yeah.
Marshmallow thistle.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up. Hey, Carrie said you're way too calm to have ODD. And I said it's because I mute his mic, and usually we just cut away. He cuts away from the camera, and he starts
We
doing
have a
like all this
30-second delay.
Yeah.
I'm not calm. I'm far from it.
He's offended.
See, there he is again.
Opposition disorder. Boom.
Y'all gotta take it. We already took it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he said bottoms up. We took it.
Not bad.
That one's actually the better of the
I
one.
told you, it's that one's the best one of them. That's the milk thistle glycetract.
Milk?
And
Dr. Choppy, you know I don't do dairy. What are you trying to do to me?
It's Silymarin. That's its herbal name.
Oh, you should have said that.
And sorry.
I have no
And
idea what
then
that means.
so at the end of the day, guys, when you develop the bitter palate, bitters can change the dynamics of our digestion, our immune system, and make us more robust in many ways. And that's why we do these herb shots, and they work really fast. And I really do love the fact that your eye was swollen and red when we came in, and it's not. Like you're back to like.
He looked like a pirate. He had one eye pretty much crusted over.
I woke up with that. It was like
Just a crazy night.
Were you proud? Like in the morning, you're like, I did this myself in my sleep. Look what I did. Look what I accomplished tonight. What did you do?
Well, I think I jinxed myself because the other day I was like, I don't ever get sand in my eye anymore. And you know what? 2 days later,
Sand?
Yeah, the Sandman comes and.
You've never seen that? Like you get.
Well, I've
little
neat heard it
crusties?
saying that way. I always called it sleep.
The Sandman.
I get sleep in my eye. If you get sleep. But yeah, I
It's
thought you were
called
saying.
sand.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard of the Sandman?
I've heard of the Sandman because it was in Back to the Future. Mr. Sandman. It's like the song in the background at one point during like Back to the Future.
Yeah, but there's literally like a guy who comes in the middle of the night and sprinkles sand on your
Maybe
eyeballs.
that's a Nebraska thing. We'll have to ask Carrie. There's a guy that comes into your room and sprinkles sand on your eye.
That's what they tell you, right, Choppa?
That's
I'm not
right.
wrong.
The Sandman, Mr. Sandman.
I know the song.
Yeah, but he shows
But
up
he
in the
shows up,
night.
and that's why he puts those eye boogers in your
He
eyes.
he sprinkles sand on your eyeballs while you're sleeping.
Sleeping dust.
I used to hate
It's
it.
not
I used
sand.
to freak
It's
out about it.
sleeping
I'm like,
dust. It's
why is this
sleeping
old
dust.
man coming and putting sand in my eyes?
It is kind of creepy. I mean, you
It
think
is.
about it. It is a little bit creepy. Yeah, and Carrie, just a comment. Gut health is everything. With as a shout out is if your gut is not healthy, we can help you. Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center believes that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the fundamental backbone that allows your body to get traction and take action. Good health forward, or unfortunately. Food can be your poison and it can cause your body to crash and burn. So we definitely want you to know that if you've got symptom patterns that you weren't genetically born with, give us a call, 281-554-8600. Visit our website, justlivewell.com, and take some of our health surveys. We've got some great surveys up. We're actually modifying and making those better and better every month. We've got some stuff in the pike that Ashley and myself and our web guys are working on to to make more user friendly for y'all, and we want you guys to help us share our message out to the masses. We want so like us, share us, comment. And help us, know what it is that you need. This is why we do these shows, is to be a use. And if you are struggling and don't know where to start, that's what we're here for. Come see Jennifer. Come see Dr. Amber. Come to our office because we can help you live better, be better, one bite at a time. And this is the game. Is if the dude don't move,
the dude don't groove.
That's right.
I had it. My mic is muted.
Oh, so sad.
Because you were doing humming a song. Carrie mentioned Enter Sandman, and I guess you're trying to do your best Metallica mouth, but bum, 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 bum.
I totally love that she knows Metallica.
That was, what?
Isn't that Enter Sandman?
Bum, 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 bum. That's, that's
bum, 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 bum.
I don't know what you're doing.
Bum, 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 bum. Isn't that Sandman?
No.
That's not.
Dustman.
That's a different
It's a
song.
different band, from the 2000s. That's Seventh Day, what do you call it?
Oh, that's Seven Nation
Army. Yeah, that's not Metallica. How would you?
I'm so sorry. I think of them in the same category because they play at sporting arenas.
Wow.
I'm offended. Is anybody else offended? Getting Metallica and what's the name of the brother and
it's okay.
sister combo?
Just mute his mic.
Okay, I've heard it. You lost your talking privileges. No. Whenever our next guest
So last
comes,
week
you
he
can
was
have
in
back.
Facebook jail. This week he's KHEA radio jail. I mean, so
Yeah.
well. Anyway, guys, I know we're wrapping up, and as usual, I love being on the show with y'all and folks out there in social media land and on KHEA Radio FM 99.5. I want you guys to know that at KHEA Radio, we love you guys. We hope that you guys learned a little bit about how to take better care of yourself today. And we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that if you are struggling in any way, that food is your medicine. Give us a call. Let us teach you what foods you should eat more of. Let us help you understand why your body's breaking down, and we will give you, direction and guidance to move forward. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We try to make this as fun as humanly possible so that you guys can live well, be well, one bite at a time.
I got a question before you leave. That last little concoction that we took.
Vital Child, yes.
Yes, it left like a bubble, like something going down my. I feel like it's stuck there.
It's
Is that normal?
Yeah, so that's the echinacea that you're feeling. It
Okay.
stimulate the immune response in the mucous membranes.
I think Jennifer hasn't done just a straight echinacea shot
Oh,
yet.
hey, I'm down. If we're not pressed for time, let's shoot a shot.
We got about a minute and a half.
Here,
Hey, so
pour
here's
us
how
some.
this
Let's
works.
do it.
Here, let me
Just for
see it.
her.
No, for all,
all
of
of us.
I thought we already did. We might as well have already taken it already.
Well,
right?
so here's the thing with this one though, you've got to swish for 30 seconds.
I don't
you
wanna do
can't
that.
chase it with water. You've got to get the full experience. This
Let's
is
just
how
make
so
her do
there's,
that.
There's these.
I love
there's
these things.
acrylamides.
You're
in-
gonna maybe cry. So you have to be a little bit prepared for this one. It's gonna sting.
This is
So,
the best.
like all the other ones, but like 10 times worse.
You will have sensations
get
in your
through it.
mouth that you've never had in your life.
So have you ever had
From all three of the ones that we just had, I was like, I've never sensed this in my entire life. I'm
Here you
so
go.
hurt right now.
But if you have stuff like in your nose and in your nostrils,
Gardy, you definitely gonna have to have one.
I'm not
well,
doing it.
he-
I have to talk. Somebody has to talk.
somebody has to
I will
talk.
talk. I will talk.
When I
while-
had to go out there and talk to her, I was like, I can't talk right now. My mouth isn't working.
Okay,
Okay, so let's swish this around.
Be
'cause
careful with this
Now,
because we've
don't be
done this
careful.
before. We've done this before with
He's
other
like,
people.
You
You're
gotta
allowed
give it the old college try.
Hey,
That's
she
that old-
she
the old
she
adage.
is a homeschool student. I'm making sure she's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but after you get through that first little tingliness, because it's almost
Your
like
mouth is gonna water for the next 5 minutes.
It's
But
almost like
you
pop-
gotta promise not to.
Yeah,
drink
if
water.
you're talking on the radio, it's the absolute worst. Yeah.
That's awesome.
so it's gonna sting.
All right,
Just
so
be ready.
It
for
does not sting, Kurt.
So you guys go ahead and go. That way we can get y'all's
Okay, ready?
responses.
He's like
by-
preparing me for
Yeah,
Just
so
swish for
he's
30 seconds.
It's in his
Swish
mouth.
for 30 seconds.
Oh gosh.
And this is the game.
Is anybody else grossed out here and Kurt swish around? I'm gonna mute his mic.
Echinacea, by the way, is premier in stimulating immune activity, circulatory, brain support. This will touch every cell, tissue, gland in your body. This is as powerful as like your CBD oil, cannabinoid receptors all throughout the body. You've got echinacea receptors all throughout the body as well. And so, yeah, so now just let it do its
Doesn't
thing.
it? Kurt, how were
You're
you
gonna-
swishing
the
so hard you were
waterfall
bleeding
is
over
gonna
on our mics over here?
I'm like numb.
Yeah, it's so numb.
Straight numb
but,
in my mouth.
But what's going to start happening after now, you're going to start getting like tingles And that's how you know you got something really special.
Hey, if you're watching on Facebook, have you done an echinacea shot before? If you're listening on
If you
99.5 FM,
haven't,
have you?
please let us know. We want you to have an experience.
Wow. That is
So your mouth is numb now,
Special.
but it's going to get even more numb, and it'll just go away. And then it comes back, and your mouth is just going to be drooling for the
Russ
next
says,
30 minutes.
No, not that one.
Yeah, it's really hard to talk.
It is an amazing herb. I can't tell you enough benefits about echinacea and how powerful it is. Kerry Bone out of Australia is the one that kind of introduced us to this, and he takes this every day. And people say, "Oh, it's not for long-term use," and his research, begs to differ. And this is an herbal multivitamin. In Australia they can't use vitamins and minerals like we use here in supplement form. They use these plants to drive the physiology towards wellness. You see how your eyes are watering? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
And you're thinking, I don't know if that's awesome. What I want you to appreciate is that these are very powerful tools, and you only had 2.5 mil. It wasn't a lot, but the herb is so abundant and powerful in the brain
Anybody
and the
else
body.
want to do one?
And Gardy, you're doing that shot.
I can't.
You don't want to waste it.
It's very.
Well, I don't mind
nauseating.
wasting it. I'll pour it back in there. But Dr. Choppa, thank you so much.
Guys, y'all
Jordan,
are
you're
amazing
awesome.
folks, and I hope y'all have a fantastic day today, and we'll check you next week.
Boom.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Choppa.
We're taking a quick break on the FM. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM.
Coming up next is K6 Island Sports. We're going to be talking about everything they have going on Galveston Island coming up next.
Hey, Galveston's not, especially today. If you have an opportunity to get out of the house and you're not listening to KHEA Radio, why not take KHEA Radio down with you to the island? Stay tuned. This is Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11 a.m. Yeah. Hey, that's Carrie Job. Is anybody listening to Carrie
Not
Job?
going to help it.
If you're listening to KHEA Radio, you are.
So it
It's,
helps release everything out.
It's 10:02.
Makes your
pushing.
whole-
Kurt, can you bring our next guest in?
Yes. Are you ready?
I'm excited. I'm excited.
So where is she at? She's down in Galveston?
Down in
Yes,
Galveston.
They do like fishing stuff and island sports stuff.
I'm not sure what they do. So I'm going to genuinely be learning. The tackle box. Choppa's tackle box. Hey, have you shared this out? I see Ashley shared this out, and the rest of y'all, I'm not. Facebook is tattling on y'all for not sharing this. Hi.
Hi.
What's
how
your
are
name?
you? Sean Porsche.
Sean, nice to meet you. My name's Gardy.
Like Porsche.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Sean
you have to
Porsche.
drive a Porsche.
I wish.
It would make sense.
Y'all have fun, guys.
All right, Doc Choppa.
See
Thank
y'all
you so
next
much
week.
for everything.
You bet.
Well, I didn't know I was supposed to bring stuff for y'all to.
Like die with?
That's just something that he does.
The look on the faces was priceless.
Do you want to do an
putting that in your mouth.
echinacea? Have you ever done echinacea?
I haven't.
So
Is it
we
gonna
actually
screw
have
me?
one.
I know. Is
I
it
don't recommend it.
You still have it, I think, over there.
No.
Did he
Yeah,
take it?
I think I'll pass.
He might have swigged it. We got a bunch of dirty cups. Could y'all put those?
Yeah,
the
we'll
trash
throw these
can?
all away for you.
So we have Sean in studio. Christy said she shared it. Thank you for sharing. Candace said, "Oh, they're talking about echinacea. You've done it." Madeline said, "No, never." Guys, y'all need to go check out some echinacea. Maybe go down to Dr. Choppa's office. I was down there yesterday and had an adjustment.
It's bad. Like,
Echinacea?
echinacea just makes your whole mouth tingle. It's awesome.
But is that bad? Kind of wakes you up, I suppose.
It does. It does wake you up and things start to move. I have this bottle here. I bought it a long time ago.
No, I'm only focused on the suicidal feeling of my mouth.
The dude don't move, the dude don't groove, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to have these on?
You don't. You can if you want to.
It's better. It's better. It's great.
It makes the experience that much better.
Makes me.
And you can
look
hear
cool.
us, yeah. Is that good?
Yeah. it's
Cool. So how are you doing today?
good. I'm doing great.
Thank you for hanging out with us. So you're down in Galveston, right?
That's right.
What's the name of the business?
K6 Island Sports.
Where does the name K6 come from?
All of our owners' last names start with K.
Okay. Oh, so then there's 6 owners?
Yeah, 3 owners and their wives.
Okay, and everybody's name starts with a K?
All the last names start with a K.
Okay, cool.
It's 3 cousins.
Okay. Is it the same last name?
2 of them are the same last name. One of them's different, but it's all K, starting with K.
All right, and then the island, I'm guessing y'all are down in Galveston.
We are down in Galveston on the West End, where there's lots of stuff to do and have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else is down there on the west end? Like, which way is that?
When you go down to Galveston and you hit Seawall, you take a right and you go about 14 or 15 miles down. All the West End beaches are really nice, less crowded. The trash gets picked up regularly, so they just look prettier.
Yeah.
There's less soil in the water because on the East End you have the dumping of the ship channel, whereas on the West End you don't have that, so the water's a lot cleaner.
Does it make it a little bit clearer on that side too?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, which is that? Pirates Beach is over there.
So Pirates Beach, Jamaica Beach, San Luis Pass. We're in Sea Isle.
There's a bunch of nice like communities and houses out there too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It'd be fun to own one day.
Is that where you want to
Just
live?
go down there. Not necessarily live. Like if I could like vacation there like every weekend in the
It's
summer.
really not a
That'd be
bad place to
awesome.
live.
Oh yeah, but it's just you're away from everything.
Yeah, but you get off work and you go fishing or paddle boarding
true.
or ride your bike on the beach.
So
and you're really not that far. It's like 20 minutes to anything you want to do.
But then what if you want to get to KHEA? How long does it take you to get here?
About 30 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Not
Okay,
bad.
we got 15 seconds. We're going to go on the FM. So we're talking to Sean, and the name is K6.
K6 Island Sports.
K6 Island Sports. Here we go. Check out this spot about Anthony. To learn more about upcoming open houses and events. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
We have a special guest in studio. We actually had Dr. Chapa just leave, and we were doing some echinacea, a bunch of stuff I can't pronounce. It was a good time.
I love it. It's fantastic. My mouth is on fire. Hey, I just wanted to mention about Anthony Macluso, realtor, still looking at houses. So if you have a house that maybe it's on the island, maybe
For
it's
sale.
not on the island, for sale, and it's in the price range of to the other price range of then yeah, please let me know.
Is that like free to $30?
Yeah.
If you're giving a house away,
If you're giving a house away,
give it to Kurt
give it to me.
so you can live there. So there's that. So we're talking to Sean. Sean, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a gorgeous day out. Finally, some heat.
Yeah, it's a really nice day. It's a good day to go down to Galveston. Would you say that?
I'd say it's a gorgeous day to go down to Galveston. The
Do you-
weather is perfect right now.
Do you live in that area
I do.
on the island?
I live on the island on the West End.
Okay, cool. And so you have K6
Island Sports.
Island Sports. So can you share about the name K6? Where does that name come from?
Well, all of the owners' last names start with K. They're all cousins, and there are 3 of them, and they're all married. So between them and their wives, there's 6 of them starting with a K. So
Okay.
that's where the name came from.
And then Island Sports, I can kind of get where that name came from. Whenever I think of Island Sports, I'm thinking of, let me see. Kurt, would you help me out here? Like, if we had to guess what the business does without necessarily knowing exactly. Island Sports.
Well, I've seen the pictures because I did the research, but it's going to be like fishing, tackle, and other things like that.
Okay, Island Sports, I'm thinking like
Fishing.
Island Sports, I'm thinking like volleyball. I want to do like, what else could I play on an island if it's a sport? That's about it, just volleyball. But y'all offer more than volleyball.
Oh, yeah. We actually don't offer volleyball at all.
So what do y'all have?
Well, we've got golf cart rentals and kayaks and paddle boards and skim boards and boogie boards and bicycles, pretty much everything you need to have fun at the beach. We also have fishing tackle, and we have some specialty lures like Steve's Lures is one of our biggest sellers. And
Is that a brand?
They are a brand, right?
Are they local or where are they from? How'd you get hooked up with them?
They are. They're local. And Steve's dad, Paul, was the inventor of the corky, which is the premier bait for trophy trout. So a lot of the good fishermen in Galveston Bay, of course, we all want to catch those big fish, right?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. You want to catch the little ones?
I don't really go fishing that much.
Oh, maybe you should.
Maybe.
It's a lot of fun. It's very relaxing.
So you go
too.
fishing a lot?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What are you trying to catch?
Trout and redfish and flounder.
Okay. And then somebody is coming down to Galveston. How do they find out about you guys? Like, are y'all like in like magazines, or they just see like a building that y'all have?
Well, we're all over the internet. I mean, we come up in Google searches. We're on Facebook. We're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, where I am a navigator. With Galveston is the oldest Chamber of Commerce.
What?
Yeah.
You know, I learned something the other day when we were there too about one of the old histories was the Red Cross was started in Galveston, and it's one of the oldest chapters and before they joined the Greater Houston chapter, but it was founded from the hurricane that happened in the 1900s. They had to come down in there and help out a lot of families, and so the Red Cross is also one of the oldest in Texas.
Right. I think you'll find a lot of things like that. The Chamber, the Red Cross, and everything started down in Galveston because at one time, Galveston really was booming more than Houston because of the port.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the storm hit in the 1900s, it shifted all of that development to Houston, just to be further away from the water. And that's why Houston's become the big metropolis it is today.
It's so interesting for me, especially this week. We had the Texas City disaster that happened in I believe 1947, where just 600 people died, because of the fires and the explosion that took place. And then you think about the 1900 hurricane where 6,000 died, one of the greatest natural disasters in American history still to this day. And it's crazy to me to think about this area and what they've experienced, but that kind of helped push that growth to Galveston. Mm-hmm. Or not to Galveston, to Houston.
Yeah. So how long has the business been down there on the island?
We're about to celebrate our 5th year next month. And we have expanded into selling carts and customizing carts because golf carts are kind of a way of life on the island. I mean, when you come down there, who wants to drive around in their car? And who wants to get all that sand in their car? You want to be cool and drive around in a golf cart.
Okay. And what kind of customizations do y'all offer?
New bodies. We put new bodies on them, or paint jobs, or stereos, or lift kits, with the big tires, so it looks super cool.
Okay. What's the craziest thing y'all have done or someone's asked y'all to do?
Ooh, I don't know. They haven't gotten really crazy down there yet.
They need to get a little more creative.
Yeah.
I remember
you
watching.
should give some good ideas, and maybe people will.
Whenever I was a kid, there was one of my favorite bands released a music video, and they were on a golf course, and they had golf carts because that's what they're supposed to be. They're designed for. They put like rims on them and had candy paint and all kinds of really, really cool stuff. I can't remember exactly how they looked, but it was a neat idea for a music video at the early 2000s. But yeah, I don't know. If I had a golf cart, I think I would just be like, okay, I want music, so that way I can hear it. And then maybe a little bit bigger wheel, so that way if I get in a situation, I know I can get out of it. And then probably some cool paint, and I'd be good to go.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with getting a purple and gold golf cart because I went to LSU.
Do you have one now?
I have a golf cart, but it's not purple and gold.
Yet.
Yet.
Okay.
Yet.
You know what you should do? You should make it even at some point tiger striped on there because you can really show the people, the LSU Tigers, right?
We had a gentleman in last week who had an LSU cap and he had like the yellow hair and everything. Tiny, right?
Mm-hmm.
From Bontemps Roller Cajun Throwdown. He was in studio last week, but he's an LSU fan, and so he had that hat that had LSU and then the yellow hair because he's bald.
Yeah, I know Tiny.
Yeah, out that way towards the West End, they're going to be having their event.
Right.
For that he just mentioned as well. So, but that Skydive Galveston, it's not quite, out there way on the West End. I'm guessing where you guys are.
They're a little bit closer in, but not too much. They're about 5 to 8 minutes from where we are.
You're on the right path if you're passing those guys.
Right.
I have said this about that far west end of Galveston. It's really the only way to get there, right, is you have to go all the way to the seawall on 61st and then start headed that way. It's a long drive when you think about like how you have to get there. Like you can't exit off earlier. You have to go all the way to the seawall to get over that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, unless you're coming down 288. I mean,
the other
depending
way
on where you're coming from, a lot of people will come down 288 and they'll hit Highway 332 to Blue Water Highway and come in from the Surfside side.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. Is there like a little bridge over there? How does that work?
There is. There's a toll bridge that goes across San Luis Pass.
Yeah, I remember going out to that bridge, I suppose, even like a little kid, because my dad, was really into fishing, and so we'd go all the time, and I grew up in Brazoria County, so that side we'd always go hang out, and I guess maybe even get to Galveston that way.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's a beautiful drive that way, too.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at the ocean the whole time.
Is that what do they call it? You said the Blue Water?
Blue Water Highway.
Do people probably just ride motorcycles and cruise down there on nice days?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So how long have you lived on the West End out there?
10 years.
10 years. Where are you originally from? This area?
No, I'm from New Orleans.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. So you're
Yeah,
the
from
LSU
New
fan.
Orleans and went to LSU and then graduated from LSU, moved to Houston working in oil and gas.
Mm-hmm.
But being from Louisiana and fishing my whole life, I was determined to get closer to the coast.
Okay, in Louisiana, what kind of fish are you fishing for?
Same thing. Trout, redfish.
What's your favorite?
I would say trout.
Okay.
To eat. The redfish are really fun to catch, because they fight a lot harder.
Yeah.
But trout are definitely the best eaten.
How do you cook them yourself? Do you
Yeah.
prepare them fried, or what are you looking for?
Yeah, I actually don't fry them very much. I used to. I think when I was younger, Louisiana, everything's fried. But now I just like to put I don't know. I guess I've gotten a little healthier, but I put a little bit of coconut oil in on a pan, and I lay the fillets down, and I put some lime pepper and some garlic powder, and I just pop them in the oven for half an hour.
That's probably the healthier way, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It still sounds good.
Squeeze some lemon juice on them when they come out. They're really good.
Gardy doesn't really know about catching a redfish because he didn't catch almost 27-inch redfish like I did. Yeah. I caught one.
I've caught okay.
They're fun, right?
I
Oh,
like
fun!
redfish. I just caught my first one the other day.
Oh,
And
sweet.
it wasn't a keeper, but I caught 2, and then one was a little bit bigger and it fell off the hook. I was like, no. But,
no.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You didn't jump
really-
back in and get it?
No.
Just like dive in.
Just dive right-
Come back.
When I was catching that redfish, I had to put my leg up on the side of the boat, and I had bruising all over my body because I was digging in that pool. It was bad.
Were you in the bay?
We were in the jetties.
The jetties?
We were in the jetties fishing.
Did you go on a charter?
We did. It was Del Agua Charters. It's our good friend Miles Delgado. He kind of has one out of there in Galveston, and so he had invited us one morning to go. We got up at the crack of dawn.
Yes.
Shot some videos. It was great.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
You
That
need
was
to tell Miles to come visit me. Tell him I have some good lures for him.
okie doke.
Okay, yeah.
He he also has a job where he works as a captain for. He brings boats in. Whenever people come to Galveston, he has to drive out there, and then he has somebody get off of his boat, and then they help him navigate to where they're supposed to go whenever they're coming from everywhere around the world.
Down the Houston Channel.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he's Captain Miles Delgado. He's a good guy, and he's become a great friend, and we love
We need
everything
to
that he
call
does.
him again. We always.
You
miss
say
out.
we. He'll call
know, he
Kurt.
calls
Kurt don't
me.
answer. Then I'm answering hey, what's up? He's like, I tried calling Kurt. I'm like, he's standing right next to me. He was looking at his phone, but hit deny. I didn't know. Was that you? Yeah.
Wow.
But Galveston has.
I don't know. I'd answer my phone if he was trying to take me fishing.
He is. He's trying to take
He
us.
wants us to go 36 hours, out, some
Oh, yeah.
huge miles away. And I'm like, I don't know if I can spend 36 hours on a boat.
What are you going to catch?
What was it? It was a whole bunch of stuff, right? Do you remember?
I want to say Wahoo, but I don't know. I can't remember. It would be a crazy trip, and we haven't gone out that long, but we haven't even gone out 1 hour, 2
Yeah.
hours to know if, or 4 hours, 8 hours to know that we would be okay and not, I'd have him freaking out on a boat,
He said
However long.
you would go 60 miles an hour and you would get out way, way, way. And I'm like, what is out there? And he goes, oh, just water. You would literally just see water.
Yeah, that's
And
all
I
you
don't
see when
know.
you go offshore.
Have you gone out
Oh,
pretty
yes.
far?
Oh, yes, I have. I definitely have.
What have you caught out there?
All kinds of stuff. Definitely, snapper's probably one of the things that's the closest in. Red snapper, you can go about 5 miles out and catch that. But there's a lot of other stuff out there. It's fun to catch tarpon out there, or
We were just talking about tarpon yesterday.
wahoo,
Nice.
kingfish, dorado, all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of different fish out there, and offshore fishing definitely is fun. It'll wear you out.
Yeah.
You come back tired.
You think if you have trouble getting a redfish in and you complain about it for, 6 months later, that you'd be okay going out there offshore and catching a kingfish?
Oh yeah. Of
Okay,
course. Of course.
Just
When
I was worried.
When we go off the FM, we'll show the video to our listeners on the Facebook page. That video that we shot that day. We shot a whole bunch of video of us catching. We ended up catching about 26 fish that morning in just a little span of time. It was just a whole bunch of you cast down the reel and reeling it back in. It was awesome.
Yeah, it hits the water.
Jetty trips are really popular in Galveston. A lot of people come to the island because jetty fishing, you usually can catch fish there. You know, it's almost a given. If you go to the jetty certain times of the year, you will catch fish. You know, fishing in the bay, because I tournament fish as well, and fishing in the bay, you got to try to find them. It's a little bit harder.
So being from Louisiana, ending up in Houston, and then liking the island life, do you run into people that have kind of run through that same path as you? Not necessarily from Louisiana, but move from other places, and they end up down in Galveston for touring, like tourism stuff, or hey, I live down here now because I fell in love with it?
Yes. There is a lot of that. There are people from all over living in Galveston, and there's actually more Louisiana people than you might imagine. Just because we gravitate towards the water, being from South Louisiana, we're so used to being around it and having that lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, of being able to kayak or fish from a boat or go in the ocean, you know. So we do gravitate towards the water. There's a lot of Louisiana people there, but there's a lot of people there from all over. A lot of people from up north retire in Galveston. And you also see a lot of people. We see a lot of people from up north will come in for the winters.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I remember. So I'm from Nebraska originally, and it's crazy whenever I wear my Nebraska hat or like something Nebraska, and I'm walking through Galveston, and people are like, "Oh, Nebraska." But Nebraska is also a really big medical community as well, and so it just kind of helps that all these people come down, you know, here to you know, because Galveston is also booming in the medical industry. You know, UTMB on the island is huge, but it's just crazy how many people. But in Nebraska, when winter hits, a lot of the older generation don't want to be there for it. You know, especially if you don't have to be there. So they'll go to warmer places like Arizona or Texas. You know, where the weather stays nice.
It's like okay here year round, you know, for the most part. Oh, you get to the 40s and we're freezing, but I guess that's better than Nebraska
negative
snow.
20 degrees and snow. Yeah, I just remember that as a kid being like, oh, I guess that's what you do when you get old. You go down to Arizona for the winter.
Yeah. I think the other parallel you mentioned with Louisiana, people gravitating towards here is history. You know, because Galveston, it has a lot of history in it.
Oh, it has a very rich history and a lot of the architecture and stuff like that. I don't know if y'all have seen the new show that's airing on DIY called The Big Texas Fix with Ashley and Michael Cordray, and they are going into old homes that were built in the 18 and 1900s and restoring them to like their original splendor, which is fantastic, rather than just tearing them down. So I think it helps to leave a lot of history.
Do you know them?
In the city? I do.
Okay, cool. I don't know if they'd be able to, but I'd love to have like a phone call with them or something, and just like over the air to promote the program.
I'm sure they would love it.
That'd be cool. I've seen Lyda. She's a musician from Galveston, and her family is there, and she's amazing. She's come on and played some songs for us, but she has shared out like, hey, congratulations to them on that. That's a big deal.
Oh yeah,
that's really cool.
Huge. It's a huge deal.
Have you seen anything about that?
Yeah,
the couple.
They're on HGTV now, right? Or
they're on DIY.
DIY. Okay.
I actually met them through the Property Brothers. When the Property Brothers they did a show down in Galveston. Galveston really is booming for real estate, and they did their show Brother versus Brother. I think it was probably about 2 years ago now that they came down, and they actually ended up, the homes that they were working on were in my neighborhood. And they are also, you know, the business K6 is in the front of the neighborhood. So we had golf carts for them the whole time they were here, and paddle boards and stuff like that. And if they needed anything, you know, we want to shoot from the water, I'd get a boat for them.
Yeah.
Whatever they needed.
Is that something else y'all can do, like not necessarily just for the Property Brothers? I would probably try and meet their accommodations even more. But like, let's say me and Kurt, we're coming down there. If y'all don't have something, and I'm like, do y'all know where I can get it? You'd help find it?
Yes, we love to help people. And I can tell you that I have people that call, and they may be renting stuff from us, but I'll end up telling them things that they can do on the island, where they can go. I try to stay very in touch with everything that's going on the island. You know, whether like last weekend we had Featherfest, all the bird watchers were in, and a lot of them wanted to go out on boats to photograph birds and do sunset cruises, and we have sunset cruises that go out of the West End now. So it's fun. I love Galveston so much, and I just love to tell people about everything that goes on there. You know,
let's bring somebody like imaginary person in, right? There is a lot going on. So if somebody had a week, and let's say Kurt's mom from Nebraska is coming in June, and for a solid week, could you plan out like with stuff that y'all offer, and then maybe other things she needs to check out on the island?
Oh, yes.
What could she do? Like, can you walk us through an imaginary week?
Imagine.
Well, I usually try to find out what the people themselves want to do, and I try to see what events are going on. Like, for instance, this coming weekend, Easter weekend, there is a huge event benefiting the Jamaica Beach Volunteer Fire Department that's happening at the Oaks on Stewart Road, and it's going to be a big cook-off with vendors and everything else. And then the following weekend, there's Art Walk, which people go down to downtown Galveston, and they go in and out of all the galleries, and there'll be, wine tastings and different things like that going on. But I usually try to get some feedback from the people as to the kind of things they like to do. I mean, of course, the aquarium at Moody Gardens has just undergone an amazing renovation, and it's fantastic. And if they've got kids, the pier is almost a must do. But we've got some fantastic restaurants and a lot of galleries and a pirate museum. And
What do you know about the Pirate Museum?
the pirate museum is fantastic. They've got all kinds of stuff. Galveston has a very rich history with the pirates, with Jean Lafitte. There was even I'm trying to think of the name of the TV show, but there's a guy, he goes around and he tries to investigate stuff. And one of the things he was doing was looking for pirate treasure. And they came and filmed on Galveston Island because of Jean Lafitte.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So does he actually find the treasure? I've never seen the show.
He did not find the treasure. He found a lot of leads on it, but
There's a ghost ship out there with treasure on it.
somewhere.
I found it.
You found it?
I did. I went out there and grabbed it before anybody else could get there.
What would you do with the treasure?
By the island.
It's not for sale, Kurt.
Oh, man.
We like that market side as well. The West End, man, there's a ton of stuff to do. But that's the beauty of Galveston, seawall.
Right.
You got,
The Strand is amazing. I love the Strand.
And the island is only 27 miles long by 3 miles wide, roughly. So it's pretty easy to get around and do a lot while you're there. You can spend a day or two, especially, you can take golf carts on Seawall now between on the east side of 61st. So you can drive down Seawall, see everything that's going on, go over to the East End, they've got a tree sculpture tour that's fantastic. All the trees that died during Hurricane Ike, they did carvings of them to turn them into different things. One of the houses down there was formerly owned by the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And in his front yard, there's a tree carving of the Tin Man with Toto.
I think I've seen that.
But there's
That's really cool.
all kinds of cool stuff down there to do.
Yeah, whenever we're on that market side, there's a bunch of delicious restaurants that we try and stop at. Macio's is one, which has been there for years.
I love the Macio's. They're amazing people.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, talk about bring back New Orleans for me. When you walk in there and you just smell the spices and
Smells good.
stuff, and the food is amazing.
We did our entire show live on location from Macio's
Oh,
the
did
same
you?
day that we went on the cruise ship.
Oh, sweet.
We're giving away a cruise through Royal Caribbean and Your Vacation Edge Cruise Planners. So that's a video that's on Facebook. It's the pinned video on our page. If you like, share, comment, you'll have an opportunity to win. We're going to pick a winner
May 31st.
May 31st, so that'll be pretty neat. We're
Oh,
excited.
sweet. I'll have to get on there and like and share it then.
Yeah,
I
that's-
could use a vacation.
And that's another thing Galveston offers. Cruises. Have you ever been on a cruise?
I've never been on a cruise. I'm going on my first one in June for my friend's wedding.
Oh.
So
Are you actually going on the cruise? They're inviting people like, hey, come with us? Or are they saying get off? Because we found out that's a thing too.
Yeah.
No. The wedding's going to happen in one of the ports.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because when we went on to film, so we got a chance to go on and tour the ship and film on the ship, so that way we could give away this cruise, because we needed video to show it.
Right.
There was a wedding party that was getting on and doing their wedding before the cruise ship took off, and then they were obviously staying for their honeymoon on the cruise after the wedding. It was really cool. I was like, I could do that for my wedding.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I think for they're having that port and the cruise ships that come into Galveston, for a lot of people that is their first introduction to Galveston. And I think everything down there looks so nice, and there have been so many improvements down there and so many new businesses and everything else that people come to the city for the first time through the cruise ships, and then they fall in love with it, and they come back and they stay, or the next time they take a cruise, they come in town a week early, and stay, and eventually they end up getting a vacation rental or maybe retiring to Galveston.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Yeah, it was. I've never experienced anything like that before in my life, like being on a cruise ship like that. It was just from start to finish. It was awesome.
I love going down there and watching them take off because they're always like on that top deck. They've got the videos playing and everybody's on the top deck like dancing and singing and waving their hands. It's kind of cool to watch it take off.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was a beautiful day for us to film, and it's been really nice weather down in Galveston right now, which I'm sure is awesome for you guys.
Oh yeah, we love the beautiful weather. This time of year is always perfect down there. It's still a teeny bit cool at night for me, but it's just been absolutely gorgeous during the day. Not a cloud in the sky and just absolutely perfect weather. The water's starting to warm up enough where you can actually go in it again.
Yeah.
It got a little cold this winter, for me anyway.
So the things that y'all offer, I know you mentioned fishing and you said you really enjoy fishing. Out of the other things that you guys offer, what is your favorite? Or could you like kind of, I guess, put them in an order like, oh, I really like this one, but this one's fun too?
Yeah, well, I love to paddleboard.
Can you explain that if somebody, I think I've seen people do that before, but I may be thinking of the wrong thing.
So it's a flat board. It's kind of, and we do surfboards as well, but the paddleboard is like a bigger version of a surfboard that's a little bit more buoyant. So you can stand on it even if you're not riding a wave. You can take them in the ocean and you can paddle out where you don't have to be laying down. You actually paddle with a paddle. And then you can ride the waves back in and kind of use the paddle as a rudder. Or you can just go out in the bay and paddle around, and it's fantastic fun. I love going out. The bay seems to get kind of calm right before sunset. I love paddling out there and watching the sunset, paddling back in. That's definitely one of my top things to do.
How much instruction does that take? If somebody has no experience, will they be able to learn?
Yes. They're able to learn very easily, especially we do teach a lot of people how to paddleboard. We put a lot of people on boards for the first time. And I think we try to start them out in the canal systems because there's generally no chop and no waves and less wind. So, and it's pretty easy to do. I mean, you just if you get on it, and I'll put it like up to a dock where they can sit on the dock and put their feet where they need to be and just stand up and go. Nice. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's good exercise too. You don't realize till you get off of it. You're like, wow.
I think keeping your balance up there because it's almost like a core. I think of like trying to stand on like an exercise ball or something.
Right, exactly. Because it is moving and it is, you're not standing on cement. It does move a little with the water. So.
Okay, so paddleboarding, and then if you had to go like 2 and 3, like what are the next two for you?
Well, driving around on a golf cart's always fun, especially, like we have Mardi Gras in Galveston. Being down there, riding in the parades on the golf cart is super fun.
There's a lot of parades in Galveston, not just that one, but there's tons of other opportunities as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And also like when we have stuff like Art Walk going on, where you're going to different galleries, or when they're doing the home tours. It's really fun to take a golf cart around to do all that.
What kind of houses? They just show like historical houses on those home tours, or like famous people owned them or something.
They're like the Moody mansions.
The
like,
Moody Mansion is fantastic. The Bishop's Palace is fantastic. But every year, twice a year, they have historic home tours that are put on by the East End Historic Society, and I think we have them coming up. I want to say the first weekend in May, or maybe the first and second weekend of May is the next one. And you just get to go in all these houses that are really old, that have been restored, and they're people's homes for the most part now.
Do you get to go inside? Is that what you said? Go inside? Wow.
Yeah, I've wanted to always tour the Moody Mansion because it's right there on that corner. It's massive. And it's been there since 1900, like before 1900, right?
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful home. It's a very interesting tour. You get to learn a lot about the family, and one of my favorite things to do at the Moody Mansion is they always do a 12th night party, the 12th night after Christmas, which is the start of the king cake season. And they have a 12th night party. So they still have the Christmas decorations up, and they'll have a choir in there singing. And it's also the kickoff of the Mardi Gras season. So the first king cakes have come out. and they'll have like king cake and wassail, and you can tour the home, and a lot of people that know, they know all the history of the home and the history of the family. It's just a fantastic time to go.
Okay, so there was a comment earlier, and someone said, "Oh, that was an understatement." Whenever you said that you are involved in things going on in Galveston, somebody else said you're a great ambassador for Galveston. Can you
Awesome.
why
Thanks, y'all.
Well, yeah, why is that? Like, what is it about this place that just makes you, I guess, fully embrace it and want to kind of help promote it?
Well, I have always loved Galveston. It's just a fun town. There's always a lot going on. I love to see new businesses pop up. I am actually a navigator for the Chamber of Commerce, which I go to probably 60% of new business openings.
Like the ribbon cuttings?
The ribbon cuttings and stuff. And I also will recruit new members to join the Chamber of Commerce. So I'm pretty active. I also just like for everybody to know everything that's going on so that, on any given weekend, you can call me and say, Sean, I'm coming to Galveston. I want to know everything going on this weekend so that I can, so that you can decide, hey, I want to do this and that or whatever it is. So.
Okay. And whenever you moved to Houston, was it your first trip down to Galveston that you knew, hey, this is where I'm going to end up and this is what I want to do? Or like, when did you realize that?
Definitely. I would say my family would come to Galveston sometimes when I was a child. My grandmother and grandfather actually came into the port of Galveston from France on my mother's side, and they lived here. And they lived in Galveston for a while before moving to New Orleans. And my mother used to come back here sometimes to visit and would bring us. And then when I moved to Houston, I started coming to Galveston because there's just not enough water in Houston for me. So I knew I would definitely want to be spending some time down here, and eventually bought a vacation home, which was my second home. And then, once you start spending weekends down there, you start scheming on how can I get down here all the time.
That's awesome. We're talking to Sean from K6 Island Sports on 99.5 FM KHEA radio. One of the things that I've experienced whenever I come to the island, as we're talking about Galveston Island, which we love Galveston Island, every time I go down there, I've always wanted to move there. Every time I'm like, man, it'd just be great to live on the island. But then I would think, man, I would be like broke because there'd be so much that I would want to do, because every time I go there, there's like certain spots and stuff that I want to do. But every time I'm there, I'm like, man, I really wish I lived on the island.
Well, I think that when you live down there, you realize how much there is to do for free. So, I mean, you can go ride your bike on the beach or on Seawall any night, and that's free. If you own a paddleboard like I do, you can go paddleboarding in the ocean or in the bay any night after work, any evening. I go out there and watch the sunset. There's a lot of free stuff to do on the island. There's free concerts at Sangerfest Park. There's movie nights at Sangerfest Park, art walk. All that's free. Mm-hmm. So you don't necessarily have to have, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a good time on the island.
There was one question, and maybe you could help me with this. I know it's not your business, but my girlfriend and I, we were down. It's right across, where that Mardi Gras lights
by the Tremont?
are. Yes, by the Tremont. There's a movie theater right there, right?
There's a reception hall right across the street that a lot of people rent for events. There's an old movie theater downtown that's not open anymore.
Oh, because they had like posters and stuff up.
That might have been the. Are you talking about the Grand?
Maybe.
The Grand's a little ways down from the Tremont, but there's some fantastic shows at the Grand all the time.
Like plays?
Plays and musicians. I mean, it could be anything.
Is that what you're talking about?
I don't think it was. I'll have to go back.
Where were you going with it? Were you just asking what that building was?
Yeah, what it was. I've never seen that theater before. It was the first time I've seen it.
Right.
It looked like a movie theater, and that they were showing or putting on plays or something. And it was right across from the Tremont.
Right across from the Tremont, there is a building, and I have been in it for the Chamber of Commerce has held their annual gala there, and I know that a number of other organizations hold their galas there. I don't know that, and it does, I think, have like movie type posters in the windows.
Okay.
But I don't know that I've ever heard of them actually doing a play or anything there. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Okay, cool.
Oh no, you know what? The place next door has plays.
Okay.
The place next door to that building does have plays.
Okay.
You're right.
I'm sorry. I
You're
just
right.
thought,
You're right. I
as we
was
were
trying
on
to
this
think of what was
topic, I was
there.
like, man, it would be great to know more about it.
No, that's awesome.
Speaking of the chamber, do you know Chef Mary Beth Bassett as well?
Yes, I do. I know everybody.
she's been on our show before, and we call her Chef Mary Beth Bassett because we have Chef Mary Bass, who is also from, like, does a lot on Galveston Island, so that's our joke.
Yeah, she's with Galveston Island Tourism, and so she'll come in and talk about everything that's going on, which is a lot. As you know already, and you've shared with us, there's a ton of events going on. Some of them free. A lot of them are free, and there's always something going on, like every day almost, every weekend for sure.
Oh, yeah. There's stuff going on all the time. And Mary Bass, she used to teach cooking classes. I don't know if she still does at the Kitchen Chick.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so much fun. Like, for people coming to Galveston, if they enjoy cooking, it's really a blast. But there's a lot of stuff to do like that, or in town a few weeks ago, like I went to Clay Cup Studios and made a mermaid bowl.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, there's just so much fun stuff to do. It's really endless.
What's that process look like?
Making a mermaid bowl?
Yes.
It was glass fusion made with mermaid glass, which kind of has a aurora borealis type effect on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a blast. You know, you go in there, bring whatever you want to eat and drink, and just get creative.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I want to make a mermaid bowl now.
So did it look like a mermaid, or are you saying it was the mermaid material or something?
It actually looks like a piece of coral that's shaped like a bowl, but it's made out of glass, and the glass has like an aurora borealis type effect on it. It's really cool. You want to come down there and do it? I'll do it again.
I do, and now I do.
I'll do it again.
Sean, I have to say, I know we just met, and we're now best friends. But we need you to, like, get us in connection with everybody in Galveston. Like,
I
you
would
could be
love
our
to.
point of
I would love
contact. There's so
to.
much to do. There's so much interesting things. How does K6 and what you guys do on the West End play a factor in just the entire island experience?
Well, I like to feel like when our clients come into K6, they may be coming in to rent a golf cart or rent a surfboard or rent a kayak, but what they're really getting is a whole experience, because they come in and we like to let them know, you know, if they say, I want to go eat the best seafood, or I want to go to a place with the most ambiance, or I want something to do with my kids that are these ages. We need to be able to tell them that. We want them to come to Galveston Island, and we want them to have the best possible experience while they're there. And not just for the people who are coming, not just for the out-of-towners, but we're very involved in the community as well, like the benefit for the fire department, or I'm on the board of Texas Boys Outdoors. We take a lot of the kids from the Shriners Hospital fishing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm on the board of Table Talk Ministries. We do we help repair, do fundraisers and help repair homes of elderly and disabled in the community that can't afford to.
Is that a nonprofit?
It's a nonprofit.
What's it called?
Both of those are nonprofit. Table Talk Ministries and Texas Boys Outdoors. Texas Boys Outdoors has a TV show on Pursuit Channel on Saturday mornings.
Okay.
Or Sunday mornings, rather.
Yeah, and they take the kids fishing?
From Shriners, yeah.
Wow.
Take the kids from Shriners. And they also take, like, war veterans or, you know, people like that, hunting and fishing.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What have those two been going on for a while?
Yes. Both of them have.
Okay.
Ongoing for a while, but just active in the community. We try to stay active in the community, helping others in the community. We do a big thing at the Meridian every year where we go into the nursing home and we just visit all the people and have a party for them.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you and the company are kind of like, maybe the official or unofficial is the word concierge. Like if you go to a hotel and you're like, hey, I want to go do this. And they're like, oh, here, I can help you out. And so would you say that's fair?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
for the entire island?
Definitely.
How would you go about getting that like as an official title?
I know, right? Right, I should. It's funny, too, but I have people that call, and they call to rent a cart, and they start asking me questions, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to be there for these 5 days, and you know, these are the kind of things I want you to do. Can you just plan everything for me? And I'm sure I'll tell you exactly what I think you should do, you know? Because they want to spend some beach time, but they want to do some other stuff while they're there as well.
Do you ever have people that want to go skydiving?
I don't usually have them ask me about skydiving, but we do have skydiving.
Yeah, we love Skydive Galveston.
Yes.
They're awesome. And that's one of the only places like in the country where you can jump on a beach every time, land on the beach every time. You jump over the ocean and then you land on the beach. You know,
Right.
Curt went and did it last year, and I was able to film him from the ground as he comes down yelling and screaming, and it was a really cool experience. You know, Simon and them out there have a really cool thing going on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We also have a lot of people that are doing kite surfing now,
Mhm.
and then we have those. I don't even know what they're called, but it's like a parachute type material, and then they have a motor on themselves, and so they just kind of take off in flight, and that motor and the parachute steers them where they go, and you see them all
So
over.
they got a motor flying,
on the West End.
and they're
yeah.
flying in the air with
They're
the motor.
flying in the air with
controlling.
a motor and a parachute. It's not like a typical full parachute. It's more
Yeah.
like a kite surfing type parachute.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, that sounds
Y'all have a lot
awesome.
to experience.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, skydiving alone is an
Need to start
experience.
planning some trips for y'all.
Yeah. Well, have you ever had the desire to go skydiving yourself?
I have.
Well, maybe we should get you hooked up with that. Like, you can hook us up with all these, and we can make sure you get to jump out of the plane over there in Galveston.
Perfectly good plane, huh?
Yep.
That's on the certificate. So people on our Facebook page are able to kind of see what that looks like when you're flying over and landing on the beach every single time at Skydive Galveston. It's kind of cool. I think that's a fun experience to me when you're up there and looking and you can see the entire island. It's awesome.
I know. I think that would be better than skydiving literally anywhere else I can think of. I know they do it in Houston a lot. They land in Rocheron. But I think just being able to be over the whole island and see the whole island and land on the beach would be a much better experience.
Yeah. Yeah, Galveston has a ton going on. It's 10:47. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11. We're talking to Sean with K6 Island Sports, with everything that they have to offer. It seems like it's a great opportunity to go have a good weekend, go have a good week, and check out everything.
Where is K6 located one more time? Can you give the address and maybe some ways that people who are listening on the FM and also on our Facebook page where they can get in contact with you?
Okay. The address is 21430 San Luis Pass Road, and it is on the west end of Galveston in a neighborhood called Sea Isle. We do have a Facebook page, so it's facebook.com/K6 Island Sports. We also have a website, k6islandsports.com.
Cool. Can you buy some of the stuff that y'all have there? Like you mentioned, hey, I have a paddleboard. Can somebody like make purchases through you guys?
Yes, they can. We
Okay.
are a dealer for paddle boards, kayaks, and golf carts. And also at the end of the seasons, too, because a lot of people they don't always want to buy new ones. You know, sometimes they'll want to buy either refurbished golf carts or just lightly used equipment. And we do sell a lot of our stuff at the end of the seasons.
You know, I watched a guy. I was in Galveston a couple days ago, and I was watching him paddleboard, and I just felt so bad for him.
Why?
Is he not good?
Well, no, I'm just imagining, like, once you're out there, you have to paddle back. Like, it's not like the effort to get there, and then you're like, oh, I got to turn back. It's kind of, yeah, I was like, oh, man, he's got to go back the other way now.
Did he look tired?
No, but I would be if I was doing it.
Well, if you're going out in the ocean, it's going to naturally push you back in. You're going to come back in with the waves.
Oh.
So you have to paddle out, but it's like surfing when you come back in.
And you're standing up as you're doing it, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're
so
standing
you
up.
paddle out, which is exhausting, but then you do, you do get to ride back in with the wave. If you're in the bay where there aren't waves and you paddle out, you do have to paddle back in.
Is there sometimes some okay surf out there on the West End?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you can get
Definitely, and I think it's a lot. You know, we do see. It's funny because when the surf is good out there, we rent surfboards like crazy. But I think you can take a paddleboard out there any time and surf.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to necessarily have the exact waves you need to use a surfboard.
Right.
So it's just as much fun, but it's just a little bit bigger board that's a little more buoyant.
Yeah. I see Sammy, she's the owner of Sammy Grace Fitness, just got on the stream. Good morning to you. She's planning on getting married and going to Hawaii, I believe. But if Galveston has everything that Hawaii has, maybe even more, like why go down to Hawaii when you can go to Galveston?
Blue water. I mean, out of everything that I could
No,
change about.
you heard her. She said on the West End.
We do get
It's a little more clear.
It depends on where the wind is coming from, because if it's coming from the south and it's really strong and you get bigger waves, there is a little bit more of the, the bottom turns up.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't look as blue. But very often, if the winds are from any other direction, especially when they're from the north, like this kind of year where everything just lays down, there's not a lot of waves, that blue water comes all the way in. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it's funny because the minute it does, you'll see like about 1 million people driving to the island to see the blue water.
Yeah. Hey, there's another friend that we have. It's Gabe Prusmack. I've known him for years, and he's one of the talented artists in Galveston. And that's something I think, like the art and the murals that they're starting to put up really helps give some more character to the city, like even on like fixtures.
He just did the one as you're entering, or I think, or leaving Galveston.
As you're entering.
You're entering, he designed that artwork.
That's beautiful. It looks fantastic. I love all of that. I love what they're doing with all that.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like every day he's out there designing new murals or new artwork for Galveston. Some of the old buildings and stuff like that. It's really kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yeah, there's always a lot going on. Is it true, maybe even more on the West End, that there's a thing as island time? Like whenever you're down there. And how is that for you to live there on the West End? Like you're always on island time?
Yes.
What is island time? If somebody has never really heard of that before, can you kind of explain, being someone who is, I guess, native to it now?
Yeah. I've been there long enough for sure. But, that means if you say 15 minutes, it might be 20 or 30.
I love that you were early, though. Like, you were 30 minutes early. I appreciate that you didn't use island time to come on KHEA.
You snapped out of it as soon as you hit the causeway. You're like, whoa.
That's it.
I'm on time. I'm early. Yeah. And does that ever affect you, like in everyday life, where you're just like, oh no, yeah, I'm on time, and it's like, well, no, you're not. It's like, oh man, it's my island time.
Well, you tend to differentiate between on the island or off the island, and you tend to get to know on the island when things happen exactly on time. And like if it's a ribbon cutting or somebody's grand opening, obviously we always try to be on time or early. But if it's something that's not so important, then island time. Island time it is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So last year I was on vacation somewhere, and it was an island, and they had some island time going on. So I was trying to ask, what time do y'all open in the morning? And they told me 7:38. And I was like, 7:38? That's a weird time. And they were like, I was like, so you're going to be here at 7:38? They're like, well, 7:38. And I was like, and then I realized what they were saying. I'm like, which is it, 7:30 or 8? Because I want to be first here. And they wouldn't answer.
It's kind of like when we go on air here. It's always 8:30-ish.
8:39.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You'll see a lot of the businesses on the island. They actually have, like, if they're open 9 to 5, it'll say 9-ish to 5-ish.
Yeah. It's a real thing, island time.
Yeah, and it's funny, too, because if the weather is absolutely perfect and the surf is right, you'll see a lot of businesses that are normally open on a regular schedule. All of a sudden, you'll be like, they're closed today. What's going on?
Yeah.
I've heard from a lot of business owners, too, in Galveston that it's an issue for getting good help.
It definitely is.
Because people just be like, well, I'm going to go to the beach today. Sorry, not going to work.
Yeah, if the surf is good, it's just like, well, I'm sorry, I can't come in. The surf is good. It's like, well, we need you at your job. Don't matter. I'm good to go.
Right.
Or that they find new people.
Yeah, we've managed to find some really amazing people. We have some great people working at K6. Everybody there is very helpful and very friendly and very responsible. But I do see other businesses struggling. And I think there's a lot of good workers on the island. It's just that you've got to kind of call through them to find it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people, too, that they're there because they love the weather, the lifestyle, the outdoors, and they want to spend their time in it. They don't really want to spend their time working, but they have to survive. Yeah. So,
what is the best place to eat on the island?
Well, you know what? I would have said Olympia Grill at Pier 21, but they just closed for remodeling. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm hoping that they reopen, but they were
they're shut down too.
All three
are down.
All three of them are down right now. All three of them. And it's literally was my favorite place to eat. I love the Pier 21 where you're sitting there, even though you kind of see the industrial port across the water at night. It's very, very beautiful.
Even in the day, just with the water
Yeah,
and the
it's-
industrial port, it's still like a really cool
awesome.
sight.
Dolphins in there.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's very awesome. Number 13's fantastic as well. Boulevard Seafood, love them.
I'm a big fan of number 13.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
good.
lot of good restaurants on the island, and we've got on the West End. We have a new little cafe that opened, Way West Grill in Jamaica Beach, and then we've got the Sea Isle Marina, which has a restaurant that was closed for remodeling over the winter, but they've just reopened with a new menu, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's some good food. I had a lobster and crab cake the other night that was amazing.
Whenever you need something like grocery store item, where do you go? Is because there's a couple of gas
We have grocery
stations.
stores on the
There's a
island.
Kroger.
Well, I mean, like on the West End, like where you're at. Like, where do you go all the way to Kroger over there on Seawall, or do you where do you go?
Well, if I don't feel like leaving the West End, we have a little grocery store out there called Seven Seas. It's in Jamaica Beach, and they pretty much carry. I mean, they don't have the kind of selection that HEB has or anything like that, but they've got what you need.
Yeah, I'm just asking because I used to be a technician for AT&T, and like we'd go out there, and it's like, well, if you haven't eaten lunch, you better like pack something or have something with you because there's not, there are some places to eat, but if you're in a hurry, sometimes it's like, hey, it's the island time experience touristy. It's like, hey, no, I just need like a sandwich, or something.
Right,
to go.
right,
so,
right. Well,
you have to prepare.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got some places that are pretty quick to get in and out of out there. The grocery store actually makes a great burger. So you can pick up that in the deli and eat it in the car or whatever, or go sit on the beach and eat it. But Way West Grill that just opened out in Jamaica Beach, they're easy in, easy out. They even have a new keto menu for those that, that don't want to eat a little bit, healthier. And they've got some amazing food and pizza. They're pretty quick to get in and out of.
That's another thing. Like, vacation. Whenever you're on island time, it's just like, hey, I'm not dieting. No, I'm on vacation. So I could see how it could be dangerous if you're like constantly on island time. And just like, I'm constantly on vacation. I have the beach right here. I'm not on a diet.
I know.
You know what I mean?
That's yeah. That is definitely the hard part.
So we have a couple minutes left. We're talking to Sean from K6 down in Galveston. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Maybe reminding people one more time about the business, everything you'll have to offer.
Right. Well, of course, we have everything you need to go to the beach and have a great time or to get around on the island. We've got everything that you need to fish West Bay and beyond. We've got Steve's Lures, Home Wrecker Lures. We got Laguna rods. We've got some nice reels, Costa sunglasses, Yeti products. So we've got a nice little shop set up. We also sell some really cute stuff for visitors. Bike seat covers that are from the island and different things like that. So it's a pretty interesting place to come in. We've got some apparel, just different things like that. So we'd love for you to come in and visit with us.
Awesome. And then one more time again, how can they find you on the internet, maybe social media?
They can find us on Facebook.com/K6 Island Sports or on the internet at www.k6islandsports.com.
All right. Right now it is 10:58. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This has been Kickstart. We appreciate you taking the time to tune in. If you're still watching on Facebook, feel free to share this video out still because people will continue to watch. People will continue to learn about all the events that we had take place today with Dr. Chapa and with Sean as well.
Yeah, make sure that you do like KHEA Radio on Facebook and also listen to us at 99.5 FM, KHEAradio.com. Our morning show, Kickstart, is on every morning from 8:30 to 11 o'clock. We also have music that plays 24/7 on 99.5 FM, Galveston County's only FM radio station.
Yeah, let us know if there's a business that you want us to check out, maybe a restaurant we need to go eat at, or anything. Yeah, let us know if there's a nonprofit we need to bring in. We would love to talk to them, learn what they have going on in the community, and get the word out what good they have going on. So we'd appreciate you guys.
Coming up tomorrow on tomorrow's show, we have Goat Yoga Houston in studio. We're giving away some tickets to Goat Yoga Houston, so you have a chance to win. So make sure you tune in to that show. Also, we're going to be talking to the executive pastor of Abundant Life Christian Center about everything that's happening Easter-wise. That's tomorrow's show. Tune in.
This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Coming up next is Phil Wickham, Living Hope. Stay tuned. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning, 8:30. Y'all have an awesome day. Be blessed.
Bye, guys.